My dog thinks I'm a genius because geniuses are excellent at solving puzzles and possess.
And hmm. You didn't register, huh, kid? Yeah, awesome. Breakfast burritos? You gonna take a nap? It's gonna be a while anyway. I'm in 2 tournaments.
I've been on Noom for 4 months. I've lost 27 pounds, and I feel like I got my life back.
I've been on Noom for 4 months, and I've lost 16 pounds.
I'm down 10 kilos in 4 months. It turns out I can do this.
I definitely feel that my brain has been rewired with the help of Noom.
I'm much more mindful about why I'm eating and what I'm eating.
Every other diet, it just says to you, you can eat this, you can eat that. You can't eat this, you can't eat that, and that's it.
If you change up here, everything will fall into place.
Build custom industrial machines in Design your machine in the simplest online CAD. Get inspired by our public designs or build your own in minutes. Program and simulate your machine directly in your browser. Build a broad range of automated equipment, no matter the complexity. Upon completing your design, review your bill of materials, select shipping options, and order. Receive your part kit within days. Assemble your machine using a single tool from beginning to end. Simple, quick, and efficient. Design your machine today. Receive it tomorrow.
Killed you with the spread. Yeah, it took the weapon. Crushing to the face, bro. That little leaflet right there on its own is just so satisfying. I don't know how it ended up right there. Put a bunch of stuff in there. How's it? I've seen them play. Right there. hear my phone anywhere? Here. Hey, ¿qué pasó, ma? Se está cargando, ma. Se apagó.
My dog thinks
A ver, dame el número. Ok. Ajá. 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 4834. Ahorita llamo, ma, y te vuelvo a llamar. Está bien, nomás. Ok. Muy bien. A ver, ma. Ajá, está bien. You're welcome. I love you too. Bye. 7-2. Ma, no está nada importante, es Yelp. Yo lo veo en tu Gmail, aquí lo tengo. No, déjelo. No, no era nada así. No, te está queriendo vender advertencias. No advertencias, pero la habilidad de advertir. Me está llamando para atrás, espérame, le voy a contestar, espérame. Hello? I'm actually answering on behalf of Maria. Yeah, actually, I'm the one in charge of basically everything that has to do with the advertising as far as can you say that one more time? We did open. Well, we didn't open a business account. Well, it is technically a business account, but what it is a free listing account. You're right. And what we were doing basically was okay. So my mom, she owns the salon, and what some of the customers were telling her was that she needed to basically edit a lot of stuff on the page for Yelp because there was a lot of inconsistencies, including the hours. So I think my mom actually went on there and did that. She changed some of the hours, added a few pictures in, and all that stuff. At the same time, I believe maybe she might have registered for a business account with Yelp, but she didn't opt to purchase anything as far as you guys go. Yeah, no. Okay, so what would you require us to do? And is there any purchase necessary? Purchases necessary? Okay. Huh? It should be, I think. It should be, I think. Oh yeah. Give me a second. You said biz.com, yes, slash Yelp. Okay, I see. Okay. Actually, I think I'm already signed in. I do. Left side business info. Is there an icon next to it? Yes. Yeah, there are. They're actually little icons with little pictures. Yeah, I don't see words. There's no words on it. There's little emojis. Shoot. There's a space rocket. There's a home tab. There's a little thing. I think it might be the rocket. Yeah. It says age upgrades. That's no problem, bro. Take care of it. After that is customize your page with a newsfeed. Highlights. The next one down is logos. Highlight the best of your business. Business highlights. I do see activity. It says page visits, customer leads, all that good stuff. No, I don't. There's nothing on here. Oh, you know what? It says step one. Go to COVID-19 updates. All right. Yeah, I'm on there, and it says, tell customers how you currently are rolling and what safety measures you're taking. Are you operating right now? Yes, I'm operating. Okay. All right, all done. Banner. I don't see banner. I can go back to it. Give me a second. Banner message for your page. All done. Got it. Well, I wrote in the necessary thing, and I pressed save changes, but I don't think it. Please reduce the number of consecutive cap. Oh, I usually cap everything. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to go back and undo the cap. That's a bad habit. Alright, all done. Saving. Save. I'm at home and it says strengthen your presence. To optimize the photos. Okay, so click on it and hit next. Okay, yeah, it is. Okay. Yeah, I'm on a budget page. Okay. Okay. 07 20. Okay. SP. Okay. 3. Okay. Okay. Enter. It's invalid. So it's 0720 B00ST. D as in boy, right? That's what I put. It's not. It's invalid. 0720 B as in boy 00ST. Okay, it's not. Remote fly. Oh, that's gotta be my mom's info. Well, I'm not allowed to do anything. Yeah, no, you would have to, I mean, she'd have to be here. I can't do that. I mean, Huh? Yeah, no, I know, but I don't have those kind of permissions. I can try, but I'd have to call you back. Alright, bro. Thank you.
I'm a genius. Because geniuses are excellent at solving puzzles and possess special skills and always make smart choices to find the best deals possible. My dog thinks I'm a genius.
Oh.
Maybe I am. Pet Owner Plus Flea and Tick. Same active ingredients as Frontline Plus. Lower price.
Over the last 2 months, I've lost about 20 pounds, which blows my mind.
After 3 months, I've actually lost a little over 16 pounds. Actually, almost 17. I didn't tell you that. Almost 17.
We've been doing this for 6 weeks, and I've lost 10 pounds.
I dropped 12 pounds with like the beginning of 6 weeks.
Hey.
I was not expecting it to go that fast.
It's been 9 months.
No, nada, es Yelp. Están queriendo dar algo gratis, pero se me hace que debo que comprar también. Me estaba preguntando por, me estaba dando información cómo editar tu página de Yelp. Pero a fin de cuentas me empezó a querer preguntar por cuentas cuenta bancaria y todo eso. So, dije, no vale la pena, no le di nada y mejor colgué. Si te vuelve a llamar, nomás dile que no estás interesada. No, sí, es que a él le dan un porcentaje, eso, está tratando de ganar dinero. Te va a volver a llamar, pero si lo hace, nomás evita dándole nada de información y nomás dile que nomás estabas interesada en el Yelp para tener página, pero es todo. 480 ya. Está bien, nada más. Sí, aquí nomás, el Rafa ya llegó, y pues, obviamente, se lo trajo, pero está confortable. Estaba dormido, se despertó como media hora y luego se volvió a dormir y no se ha despertado desde entonces. Yo creo que debe estar cansado. Ya tiene como 14 horas. Es lo que dije, lo han de haber tenido para arriba y para abajo. Ay, madre. Pues, ¿qué le digo? Somos varones, es una necesidad. Pues, si no, ¿cómo vamos a continuar No, bueno, no es que lo hagamos más grande, pero ¿cómo va a seguir la humanidad sin tener? Imagínense si todos paraban de hacerlo, ¿verdad? ¿Cuántos no quedarían sin ¿cómo se dice? La
Today's
potencia,
business
sin la,
moves
sin
fast, and your team needs
la,
tools to be efficient.
corona,
Google
pues
Workday
van a
delivers
salir que no
emails,
pueden
spreadsheets, and
disparar,
project
están
management.
disparando blancos,
What if you could
blanco,
free yourself
¿cómo
from
se
this
dice?
one-size-fits-all software? Introducing
Cuando no pueden tener
Amazon
fin.
Honeycode. With Honeycode, build custom apps for your team without
Sí, pues por no practicar, ¿verdad?
manage permissions, and share real
Eso lo maduré, lo maduré. Lo maduré.
Amazon Honeycode.
Out of all 3 meals, which one do you want to eat tonight?
No le di nada, obvio, absolutamente nada.
Okay.
The other two look good too, but this one definitely, that's what
That chicken looks
Hombre, ¿cómo lo como?
Okay, let's see. So prep time's only 10 minutes. Total time 40 and calories 690. And it shows all of the ingredients. And then let's take, they all come in.
Estamos bien mientras que no le des nada de cuenta bancaria, nada así que
So
se
that's-
quiera cobrar.
Yep, that's the entire meal. It has everything in it. So we have all 3. So let's put these other ones in the fridge.
No hay problema, meterlos.
Then we'll open this one up and see everything that's inside. Green beans, scallions, parmesan, yum, breadcrumbs, couscous, a lemon that's very cold, butter. Ooh, roasted garlic herb butter, yum. Paprika, and what's this? Sour cream. And then I'm pretty sure all of the meat is in the bottom of the box. Yeah, don't forget about ingredients, which may be hiding under the ice. I'm gonna burn my hand on the dry ice. Oh, cool. Look in here. All of the meat is in there. Are you surprised that I'm making you cook?
no.
Yo, what's up, Surplus Squad? Tanner here, and I'm back with something a little different. I've had this close container sitting around for about a year, and I decided that now was finally the time to do something with it. Let's get started. This container is 9 inches across and 13 inches tall. After making a few calculations, I estimate that it holds roughly 3.5 gallons. I think this is a really good footprint to work with, but there is a slight issue. The base of the container is made of wood. If we were to make a setup with this as is, it wouldn't last long. No worries, I'll just seal the inside of the base with Pond Shield epoxy. Before doing that, I put tape along the outside to make cleanup easier later on. I mixed up the 2-part epoxy and got...
My dad thinks I'm a genius. Because geniuses are excellent at solving problems. And possess special skills. And always make smart choices to find the best deals possible. My dog thinks I'm a genius. Maybe I am. Pet Armor Plus Flea and Tick. Same active ingredients as Frontline Plus. Lower price.
I've been on Noom for 4 months, I've lost 27 pounds, and I feel like I got my life back.
I've been on Noom for 4 months and I've lost 16 pounds.
I'm down 10 kilos in 4 months. It turns out I can do this.
I definitely feel that my brain has been rewired with the help of Noom.
I'm much more mindful about why I'm eating and what I'm eating.
Every other diet, it just says to you, you can eat this, you can eat that. You can't eat this, you can't eat that.
If you change up here, everything will fall into place.
Every other diet, it just says to you, you can eat this, you can eat that. You can't eat this, you can't eat that.
If you change up here, everything will fall into place.
Every other diet, it just says to you, you can eat this, you can eat that. You can't eat this, you can't eat that.
This is what fresh looks like. And this is what fake supermarket fresh looks like. Say goodbye to supermarket fresh and say hello to AeroGarden fresh. This is AeroGarden, and this is everyday fresh. No herbicides, no pesticides, always non-GMO. Who knew fresh could have no off-season? Who knew locally grown could mean 5 feet away? And who needs farm to table when you have plant to plate? With AeroGarden, grow delicious herbs and heirloom vegetables right on your counter in a beautiful and sleek garden that's right at home in any kitchen. There's no sunlight necessary and no green thumb required. So you get the harvest without the hassle. AeroGarden has everything you need to get growing in minutes. Just drop in the pod, add water and plant food, and watch them grow. With our easy-to-use control panel, you'll always get the right light and no worries about when to add water or how much to feed. AeroGarden Fresh means all year-round natural fresh. You'll grow 5 times faster than soil. Watch it sprout in days, harvest in just weeks, and enjoy over and over for months. You can grow the freshest herbs, the tastiest vegetables, even the most beautiful flowers. There's an AeroGarden for every home and every budget. And AeroGarden makes a great gift with over 10,000 5-star reviews. come see what everyone is talking about. It's easy, it's fresh, it's AeroGarden. So don't be fooled by fake supermarket fresh. It's not really fresh unless it's AeroGarden fresh. Get growing today with AeroGarden.
Holy sh... What is that? Introducing...
Yo, what's up, Serpa Squad? Tanner here, and I'm back with something a little different. I've had this cloche container sitting around for about a year, and I decided that now was finally the time to do something with it. Let's get started. This container is 9 inches across and 13 inches tall. After making a few calculations, I estimate that it holds roughly 3.5 gallons. I think that
all there. Bye.
this is a really good footprint to work with, but there is a slight issue. The base of the container is made of wood. If we were to make a setup with this as is, it wouldn't last long. No worries, I'll just seal the inside of the base with Pond Shield epoxy. Before doing that, I put tape along the outside to make cleanup easier later on. I mixed up the 2-part epoxy and got to painting. I applied an even coat with a brush and let it cure for a few hours. As expected, 1 layer wasn't enough. I mixed up a second batch and repeated the process. I let everything cure for a few hours and then removed the tape. After that, everything was left to cure for 24 hours. Unfortunately, some of the epoxy seeped under the tape during application. Not a big deal though. I simply went around with sandpaper to remove all of the excess epoxy. After all of that, I ended up with a clean base. It now has a waterproof coating on the inside to make it suitable for an awesome terrarium. To escape this setup, I'm going to primarily use Dragonstone. This is a unique clay-based stone with a ton of nooks and crannies. As you'd expect, these areas will be great for plants. I inspected the pieces to find a way to fit them together. This smaller piece fit perfectly onto a larger one. To keep them together, I'll use cyanoacrylate superglue. I put down a glob of superglue and applied pressure. Once the glue was dry, I got a larger piece that fit perfectly into the others. I used a rubber band to hold everything together. Like before, I applied a few dabs of superglue to keep the pieces secure. I let everything dry for about 10 minutes and removed the rubber band. The superglue left behind white residue that I don't want on the hardscape. To hide it, I applied more glue and covered it with dust from the stones. The end result is something that looks totally seamless and like a single piece of stone. I gave the structure a quick spray to clear away any excess dust and debris.
So that's it. Good
I planned for the
substrate.
stones to fit perfectly in the middle of the enclosure, and they did. To attach it to the base, I used Great Stuff Pond and Stone Expanding Foam. I simply left the stone where it was and applied foam in the gaps under the stone structure. I let it cure for a few hours and peeled away excess foam. With the stone secured, I taped off the interior portion of the base. This will be used as a barrier for the expanding foam. I applied the foam along the inside of the tape and let it cure for a few hours. After that time, the tape was removed. I carved down the outside of the foam with a razor scraper to create a substrate layer. I did this in a way that the foam tapers down toward the outsides of the container. Here's a closer look. After carving, I taped off the container for a third and final time. To attach it to the base, I used Great Stuff Pond and Stone Expanding Foam. I simply left the stone where it was and applied foam in the gaps under the stone structure. I let it cure for a few hours and peeled away excess foam. With the stone secured, I taped off the interior portion of the base. This will be used as a barrier for the expanding foam. I applied the foam along the inside of the tape and let it cure for a few hours. After that time, the tape was removed. I carved down the outside of the foam with a razor scraper to create a substrate layer. I did this in a way that the foam tapers down toward the outsides of the container. Here's a closer look. After carving, I taped off the container for a third and final time. I used the superglue from earlier and Fluval Stratum to conceal the foam. I broke the soil up into dust for better adhesion. Like the stone debris from earlier, I apply the glue, cover it with the soil, and brush away any excess. Once the foam was concealed, I turned the structure upside down to remove debris. The tape was removed, and I ended up with this. The edgework I just created with foam will act as a barrier for water, substrate, and other materials that will be held in the container.
Bespoke Post creates special rad products and puts it into a bunch of these boxes.
They are a subscription box introducing people to cool new products each month.
The contents of each box ranges from tools and drinks to gear for style and travel.
Bespoke Post got you covered.
For my meal kit delivery, I chose the vegetarian box, and the meals that I received were the salsa verde enchiladas, harissa sweet potato pockets, and the Mediterranean baked veggies, which you guys are going to watch me make right now. I've tried a lot of meal kit services in my day, and so I thought I knew exactly what to expect when these showed up to my door, but holy guacamole, I am not lying to you guys when I say that these meals were so much better than meal kit delivery services I have tried in the past. Even before cooking or trying anything, the ingredients were all just so fresh. I also love that they suggest using the bag as your scrap bag as you cook, so I did that. I am someone who really does not like going to the grocery store, especially in a big city. It always feels like such a big to-do and such a waste of time. So meal kits have always been something that I've been really interested in. However, you guys also know I'm big on sustainability, and in the past with other meal kits, I felt overwhelmed with hard plastic packaging and ice packs that we couldn't recycle, but amazingly, the packaging HelloFresh uses to ship your food is almost entirely made from recyclable and or already recycled content. HelloFresh's carbon footprint is 25% lower than that of meals made from store-bought groceries, according to a comparative impact study from the University of Michigan, which is bananas. I just think HelloFresh has really done this meal kit delivery thing right. You can add extra meals really easily, you can change your delivery days, your food preferences, you can skip a week whenever you want, and coming from someone who has tried almost every meal kit delivery service out there, HelloFresh is truly top-notch, by far my favorite, and even Will, who doesn't normally eat vegetarian meals, loved everything we made.
There's one more detail I want to add to the hardscape, Dragon Root. This can be divided into separate strands for detail work. I wove pieces throughout the stone to give the illusion of vines. However, during that process, I accidentally separated the stones. No worries, I sprayed foam in the middle to secure the structure. Once the foam cured, I resumed scaping. A few were glued to the rocks for proper placement using the technique from earlier. I ended up with this as my hardscape. I think it turned out really well and has a lot of great texture. For the false bottom, I added a super thin layer of sand. The setup won't have much water in it, so I was able to keep this layer thin. I also added a layer of crushed charcoal. This will help keep the terrarium clean. I topped that off with the Fluval Stratum substrate from earlier. Normally I'd use my ABG mix for something like this, but the layers are so thin that compaction won't be an issue. Next I put damp sphagnum moss in crevices throughout the hardscape. These will help wick and retain moisture for the plants. For this portion of the build I'll use flame moss. I chopped it up into smaller pieces to spread the materials further. This moss of course was placed all over the patches of sphagnum moss. Right now it all looks pretty flat. Long term it will grow out into beautiful little tufts of moss. Periodically during this process I had to spray the moss to keep it from drying out. Next I put a thin layer of damp sphagnum moss on top of the substrate. This terrarium will feature a carpet of moss, and like the areas on the hardscape, this will help keep things hydrated. For the carpet I'll use Java moss. Like before, I chopped it up into smaller pieces and added a beautiful carpet atop the sphagnum moss. Again, everything was sprayed down. The other plants I'll use in this terrarium include Anubias nana petite, Ficus puma crucifolia, Bulbitis deformis mini, dwarf mondo grass, and Selaginella kraussiana gold tips. I started by wedging Anubias between branches and crevices in the rocks. Even just these plants really helped add some great texture and color to the setup. Next were the ficus. I planted these between the dragon roots to give the illusion they are part of the vine structure created by the roots. I think they complement the hardscape very well. After that, I planted the bulbitis atop the entire structure. The mondo grass was then planted throughout the bottom of the setup. I think these add a neat tropical vibe to the aesthetic. Lastly, I added even more texture and color with the Salad Janella. With everything planted, I gave the setup a good spray. I also taped off the glass dome to paint the outside of the base. I did that with black acrylic paint, let everything dry, and then removed the tape. What about stocking? As with any terrarium, I added springtails to help keep the environment clean. I added springtails to help keep the environment clean. Our main inhabitants are some garden millipedes. I used these as part of the cleanup crew in one of my vivariums. I was only able to find 4, but that should be enough to get a colony started. I'll add more as needed.
It was about the 3rd week into Kathy's weight loss battle where things really started to go downhill. She was eating salads 4 or 5 times a day. She was running on the treadmill 45 minutes a day and even walking her dogs on long walks on the weekends trying to lose weight. And in the first couple of weeks, she lost weight. But then she hit a plateau, still doing the same things that she's been doing, but she stopped losing weight, and even worse, she started gaining weight back even though she was working out extremely hard and she was nearly starving herself. So what was going on?
All you have to do to lose weight and have the perfect body is to eat less. How many times have you heard that tired old lie? Want to lose weight? Go on an extremely low-calorie diet. Simple, right? Wrong. Losing weight does not mean always being hungry. Losing weight does not mean salads 3 times a day. And before you slam me with the whole, that's easy for you to say, this isn't about me. This is about the thousands of people worldwide that I've been fortunate enough to be able to help with their weight loss goals, allowing you to eat real food all day long, yet still lose weight faster than you ever have. Now, you can think that I'm being a little too harsh, but please know that I need to break through to you because I want to help you. Okay, quick exercise. Place your hands on your stomach right now. Come on, let's do this. Place your hands on your stomach. Now, where is most of the fat located? Is it on your front? Is it on the side? Maybe your back? Grab the belly fat. Is it a pinch, or can you grab some fat? Perhaps you can get a full handful. Now, how long have you been struggling with everything that's in your hands right now? And why haven't you taken care of it before? There is a simple way to completely transform your physique in as little as 12 weeks, like, say, Hugh Jackman did for the Wolverine movie. But to transform himself into the superhero, Jackman followed some of the secrets that I'll reveal to you.
Okay.
Chris Pratt went from the chubby, lovable Andy on Parks and Rec to the cover of Men's Fitness sporting a killer set of abs. What's their secret? They ruthlessly cut through the fluff and the BS. They have 0 time to waste because their next film role is starting in just a few weeks. So they can't waste time on the wrong program. Is fruit bad for your diet? You should know that the advice to eat plenty of fruits and vegetables is gravely flawed. This is exactly where many diet books and trainers and dietitians run into trouble. They recommend eating fruit because of the high vitamin content, but they completely ignore fructose. Is fructose good for you? That answer is unfortunately complicated. There's no doubt that fruits offer a slew of health benefits, vitamins, minerals, fiber, and phytonutrients. But the fructose complicates the issue for most people, especially women. Well, guess what? These same rules apply to a lot of vegetables as well. And I know it's enough to make your head spin. How can you possibly know which fruits to eat, how often, and how much? What's the fastest way from where you're at right now to your dream body? It's a straight line. But the issue is, when people try to get in shape, They follow the fad diets. They try low carb. They try low fat. They try the Atkins diet. And then they try doing a bunch of cardio, steady state cardio 7 days a week. And what happens is instead of going in a straight line, they jump back and forth on this diagonal line and get mediocre results so that they end up quitting. And they just think that nothing works for them when really they have a very specific body type, one of 3 body types actually. And unless they understand what that body type is and what to do for that body type, they're always going to struggle to get in shape. And that's why I made a free body type quiz that tells you what your body type is and the 3 most important things to do for your body type. If you want to check that out, you can click the button down below this video, click the link wherever it is. It'll take you to the quiz, and I'll tell you exactly how to quiz.
Ooh, Nelly. Almost off the scale. How active are you? Which best describe? I can't get bigger or gain muscle no matter how much I lift. I'm skinny fat. I look slim in clothes, but I do have body fat. I'm happy with my body and I want to lose a serious amount of weight.
Hey there. Okay, so you're looking to lose weight. You know, lower your overall body fat percentage and build some muscle and get lean. Well, that's an exciting goal. And believe it or not, it's super attainable. Stick with me for a few minutes because by the end of this video, you are going to learn 3 simple fixes that you can start doing today that are going to make it easy for you to say goodbye to your out-of-shape, soft-looking body and hello to your new lean and muscular body. Not only that, I'm going to show you how to do it without starving yourself, and I'm going to reduce your cardio down to almost nothing. That sound good? I thought it was.
No cardio.
Now, after helping thousands of guys shed off that soft outer layer of fat, get rid of their bellies, and ultimately replace what they see in the mirror with something that they're proud of, patterns quickly started to emerge from the emails and the questions that they would leave on social medias. When it comes to their workouts, I would hear, should I lift heavy or should I lift light? Or how many days a week should I work out? Or how often should I do cardio? How often should I hit abs? I don't only want to put on muscle and end up looking bigger. I want to lean down my body and get my muscles showing, not just get super skinny. Then when it comes to their diet, I hear, Vince, no matter how low I drop my calories, even if I only eat chicken, I don't lose any weight. I literally feel like I'm starving half the time, drained from my workouts, yet see no physical change in the mirror. Or I hear, Vince, when I first started dieting, I would drop a few pounds on the scale, and then the second that I would start eating normally again, since all these diets are so restrictive and you can't stick to them, I gain it all back, if not more. If I had a nickel for every single time I heard that story, I'd be a very wealthy man. I actually heard a very similar story from my dad, saying he would just try to eat salads as much as he could and then go to the gym and ride the bike or jog on the treadmill for an hour every night, 5 nights a week, and still not lose any kind of weight. And he literally told me a couple weeks back that he had almost given up, that he was just going to have to accept that he'd be overweight the rest of his life. I think he said 250 was the exact number that he could never break, and he's 6 foot. Today, he's down to 200 pounds. He's in better shape than he graduated high school at, and let me tell you, he loves it. He's literally a new person now. There is nothing more disheartening than to be on that never-ending cycle of diets that leave you hungry and endless cardio and never even getting close to the results that you want. But it doesn't have to be that way. And by the end of this video, it flat out won't be that way for you ever again. But you are going to have to pay attention and make the simple changes that I suggest in this video. Hopefully the info that I'm about to give you will help you realize that it's not your fault. Never has been. We've been tricked by mainstream media to allow all these fad diets that don't work. And most importantly, I hope I help you realize that with just a few minor changes, you can fix it and you can start seeing fast, consistent progress in the mirror and on the scale. How our other guys have been able to achieve changing their bodies from something that they're embarrassed by to something that they're truly proud of was actually much easier than you think, and I'd like to share how to make that a reality with you right now. But before I do, how do I even know it's so easy? Well, I'm a world famous fitness model now. I'm a certified trainer and the author of 6 of the best-selling fitness programs on the market today. And I've had the privilege of sharing these exact secrets that I'm about to share with you with literally thousands of men around the world. And I've gotten to watch firsthand as they have made incredible weight loss transformations by only changing these few things. Like most well-intentioned guys, you've probably been misled towards these solutions that have given you subpar results. You've tried cutting your calories and your carbs, basically starving yourself so that your body would eat away at your fat, right? Which only resulted in you getting moodier and feeling weaker and binge eating and gaining any weight that you might have lost right back every time. And you've probably been convinced that you're going to have to do hours and hours of cardio for the rest of your life, which lasted about a week, because why wouldn't it? Nobody has the time or the drive to jog or bike in one spot at one pace for an hour every single day, only to end up getting disappointed at the lack of results you see in the mirror after all that effort. Or you could have even tried all these different fat burner pills, fat burning liquids that promise you the world, but actually just ended up in you losing a couple hundred or even couple thousand of dollars with literally nothing to show for your hard-earned money that you've now wasted. Trust me, we get literally thousands of emails from guys just like you who have also been fooled into thinking that these solutions would work, and they feel depressed and they feel confused. All they wanted was to be able to drop that number on the scale, keep it off for good, and just be proud of the way that they look in the mirror. Everybody deserves that. Instead, they're left spinning their wheels, wondering why, no matter what they try, they still see no results. It's flat out demoralizing. That sound like you? Well, if it does, let's put a stop to that. Let's jump into these tips and get you on the right path right now. And listen, you're going to want to write these down. I'm about to share a few things that I want you to start doing today. And if you do, I guarantee that you will see a drastic change on the scale and in the mirror this week. They are that effective. And you can actually consider yourself pretty lucky, because your body type and fitness goal of just dropping weight is one of the easiest to see fast results. Your clothes are going to fit better. You'll see changes in the mirror almost immediately, and you will for sure see a smaller number when you step on the scale just by changing these few but incredibly effective tweaks to your strategy. All right, you ready? Here they are. The first thing I need you to do is stop starving yourself. Like I just said, it's become all too common nowadays to just believe that as long as you lower your intake of calories, you lose weight. And the issue, other than the fact that you just simply can't stick to that, and I know that because of the number of clients I've helped who were in that exact position before this, is that it's true to a degree. If you are in what is known as a caloric deficit, meaning your daily caloric expenditure through rest and activity is higher than your intake, you will lose weight. Some call this calories in versus calories out. And it's true to a degree. But the second you take that deficit too far and you restrict your body of essential nutrients for too long, which is what most people think that they need to do when they start dieting, things take a turn for the worse. And this is when and why you experience a weight loss plateau and end up quitting. What happens is when you eat food, there's a hormone release called leptin, and this is what you could call your fat-burning hormone. Its primary responsibility is to tell your brain that you are getting enough nutrients throughout the day to continue burning calories efficiently. But then another one of its most important roles is to tell you that you are full, because on the other side of it, there's a hormone in your body called ghrelin, and it has the complete opposite effect on your body. Not only does it promote fat storage, but ghrelin is commonly referred to as the hunger hormone, meaning whenever you have feelings of hunger throughout the day, that's because your body has been producing too much ghrelin and too little leptin. So when this happens, not only do you get excruciating feelings of hunger, almost painful sometimes, but your metabolism slows down and your fat storage goes through the roof. And this is why it feels like every single time you eat, it just gets stored as fat in all the wrong places, because it is. And this is also why whenever you start dieting, you lose a couple of pounds in the beginning, but then you hit a wall. and then you binge eat and you gain it all back, if not more. And I say if not more due to your metabolism being slowed down even more, because one of the main benefits of leptin is a boost in your metabolic rate. But when you decrease the rate of production for the hormone responsible for telling your brain that you're getting enough calories to continue burning calories, your metabolic rate slows down, and you start burning less and less calories every single day from the exact same amount of activity. This is when you find yourself basically working out to not gain weight rather than actually seeing significant weight loss. Because let me tell you, your brain is not worried about losing 20 pounds and looking good with your shirt off or fitting into your pants. It's worried about surviving. And if there's a shock to your system where you're not getting the nutrients you need every day, it goes into what is known as starvation mode. And this is what makes you think that you have bad genetics. It's not your genetics. When really, you just have an imbalance of hormones that can be reset quite easily, which I'm going to get to here in a second. But aside from all that sciencey stuff, let's say that we're in some magical world where starvation diets did work, okay? Not eating food is just not sustainable. I know it's not, you know it's not. We all love food. We all get cravings. We all get asked to go out to eat with our friends or our family every once in a while, have a beer with the guys. So in order to enjoy life without the frustration of weighing 3 more pounds the next day, I'm going to recommend to you what I've recommended to thousands of other people who were once in your exact shoes. It's called carb cycling, and it's been scientifically proven to be one of the most efficient, but most importantly, one of the healthiest ways to reduce body fat fast. If you've ever been searching for that magic bullet for rapid weight loss, this is as close as you're going to get, and it's annoyingly easy. What it does is trick your body into mobilizing the fat from your most stubborn areas for energy while boosting your metabolism. And how does it do that? I'm glad you asked. So, your body has 2 main fuel sources. First are carbs, second are
My
fats.
friend was like, dude.
Well, when your carbs are depleted, meaning there's none left in your tank, you've used them all up through activity or whatever, your body starts using up your fat for fuel. Now, you might be thinking, great, well, I'm never eating carbs again. Well, the issue is, if you leave your carbs depleted for too long, you start producing less and less leptin, and your metabolism slows down, and you not only stop burning fat, but you start storing more from whatever you eat. So to fix this on both ends, what carb cycling does is takes you through a series of low or no carb, moderate carb, and high carb days throughout the week with specific amounts of carbs depending on your body and goal. So on the low or no carb days and moderate carb days, your body basically grabs from your fat stores for energy. But on the high carb day, you produce an overload of leptin from the pastas and the mashed potatoes that you're eating, therefore skyrocketing your metabolism for a few days, only to drop back to low carb and in turn start burning calories from fat even faster. And don't worry, this sounds way more difficult than it actually is. Our past clients have been blown away by how easy and enjoyable this method really is to implement into their busy schedules. And I say enjoyable for 2 reasons. One, because obviously because of the weight loss that they experience. But 2, because of how full they actually feel all the time. And hang on, I already know you're doubting me saying feeling full all the time. And why shouldn't you? You've probably never been on a diet that actually leaves you full. And with that being said, it's time for tip number 2. It's time for you to actually start feeling satiated throughout the day, and that is by increasing your fat intake, which is also the backbone behind burning fat. And now before you freak out, contrary to popular belief due to outdated research, fats are crucial for weight loss, not only because they've proven to slow digestion in your small intestine and curb your appetite, leaving you feeling fuller, but without them, you will always struggle to see any kind of consistent fat loss. You see, aside from fats being the just cornerstone behind vitamin and mineral absorption, which is crucial for weight loss and just overall health, they are also responsible for providing the right kind of calories that your body needs to burn fat. And research has shown that dietary fat helps break down existing fat, your stubborn fat, by activating the fat-burning pathways in your liver. This means that you can start getting rid of your stubborn belly fat or your lower back fat or whatever you've always struggled with by simply introducing fats to your diet. Now, this doesn't mean go and eat a bunch of pizzas and french fries. That's not what I'm saying. But foods like steak or whole eggs and fish and avocado and nuts should be included in your meal plan every single day. And similar to carb cycling, your fat intake will fluctuate depending on your carb intake. With lower carbs, you'll have more fats to speed up the fat burn on those days and also keep you from craving foods. But if you're not going low carb, for example, high carb, you have to be careful about how many fats you eat, seeing as how their caloric density is over twice as much as carbs or protein, so you can very easily eat just too many total calories. And aside from that, it's actually beneficial to your body to have less fats on high carb days because leptin responds best to high carb, low fat meals. So you get the fat burn and the boost in your metabolism. Now, I'm trying to pack as much into this short presentation as I can, but if you're wanting more info on exactly how to carb cycle and how many and what kind of fats that you should be having every single day, where I break it down step by step so that even someone who has never dieted a day in their life can understand, I have something special for you at the end of this video, so stay tuned. But let's get into the final tip right now, because I know you're going to like this one. My dad definitely did. I mean, everybody does, because everybody hates cardio. It's not fun. It's exhausting. It's hard on your joints when you're overweight. It's overwhelming to even think about doing it every day or even Monday through Friday. And for the results, or I should say lack thereof, it's just not worth it, which is probably why you've never found any kind of satisfaction from your cardiovascular exercise. And the thought of going from what you're doing right now to, like I said, daily cardio, well, let's be honest, you know that you're probably not going to last through the first week or two. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this video right now. But what if I said that you never have to do daily cardio again, or even traditional cardio at all, ever again? And to clarify, traditional cardio is what you see people doing every single time you walk into the gym. People going at one steady pace for anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes. This can be jogging on the treadmill, climbing the Stairmaster, riding the bike, doing the elliptical, any of it. Say goodbye to all of that for good if you want. Why? Because aside from the fact that you would end up absolutely hating the gym and sooner rather than later just stop going, there's just better options. I mean, let's be real. How can someone expect you to go from very little or maybe even no cardio every week to daily cardio or even 5 times a week? It's not realistic. I've been doing this too long just to believe that you'll change your workout habits that drastically forever, just like that in the blink of an eye. You need to dip your foot in, test the waters, do something that will prove it gets results, and when and if that happens, then you'll be a little more motivated to really invest. So let me ask you this: if there was a way to only spend, say, 45 minutes a week doing cardio total, but you would burn calories 24 hours a day, 7 days a week from just that 45 minutes, therefore resulting in more than double the amount of calories burned in less than half the time, would you be interested? Because something I preach about to our clients is working smarter and not harder, and this is a perfect example. So let me explain your new secret weapon for torching fat. I want you to start doing a special type of cardio, but most importantly, I only want you to do it 3 days a week for 15 minutes a day. Like I said, that's 45 minutes a week total, that's it. And if you start doing this, you will see changes on the scale and in the mirror literally this week. It's that powerful. It's a type of cardio called HIIT. It stands for high intensity interval training. And this is, I guess you could say, the industry cheat code that all the biggest names use to drop their body fat incredibly fast while preserving muscle and keep it off year round. You see, most people think that the leanest guys in the world, fitness models, athletes, bodybuilders, do tons and tons of cardio every day, and it's quite the opposite. They typically spend less time doing cardio than your average Joe. They just do it right. But now, let me explain why HIIT training is so amazing. HIIT training is an anaerobic activity, meaning it targets fat cells and shuttles them across the cell membrane and uses them for energy. And in this metabolic process, your body uses your oxygen stores. Now, the cool thing about your body using these oxygen stores is that it then has to replenish those oxygen stores, and your body burns calories the entire time it takes to do this, which, like I said, can take up to 48 hours. Therefore, for a simple 15-minute HIIT session, you can burn fat calories for up to 2 days through a process called the afterburn effect. But not all HIIT training is created equal. To get the benefits of the afterburn effect, you need to do certain HIIT workouts at certain intervals on certain days, and if you don't do the right ones on the right days, you're pretty much just wasting your time because you won't get that afterburn effect that burns fat literally 24/7. So, here in a second, I'm going to give you access to what I consider the very best and easiest HIIT workouts for someone looking to lose weight fast. These are guaranteed to give you incredible fat loss results in the shortest period of time. Like I said, we're talking 15-minute cardio workouts 3 times per week. That's it. And you can do these with certain high-intensity exercises like a battle rope or burpees or jump lunges, stuff like that. So if you absolutely dread treadmills, be done with them. Because I don't know about you, but wasting hours of my day on boring cardio machines is not my idea of fun, and I doubt it is for you either. So I know you'll love these HIIT workouts. Now, those 3 things are just a few of my secret weapons that will allow you to finally actually see fast and consistent weight loss. And if you combine those with a solid training program geared specifically for losing weight, it's game over. You'll be dropping body fat so fast, it'll blow your mind with how easy it really is. And look, I know that was a lot of information, and I told you I'd be showing you where you can find more info on not only these 3 tips, but so much more. So if those tips got you fired up, but maybe left you wanting more or confused on exactly how to put them in action, I'd like to help you automate all of this so that you'll finally be able to get rid of that excess weight that you've been carrying around for years and with ease. Let me introduce you to our Fat Loss Extreme program. It's the complete fat loss and muscle building solution that will allow you to drop fat while adding lean muscle in a matter of just a few short weeks. If you've ever wanted to have a lean body that you're truly proud of, but couldn't figure out how to get there or even just stay there, Fat Loss Extreme just became your new Bible. Here's a sneak peek of what you could find inside. You'll find an easy to follow, step-by-step carb cycling and flexible dieting fat loss strategy, which will help because, well, these 2 dieting strategies drop weight and strip fat incredibly fast and allow you to keep it off without starving you, without making you give up the foods you love, and without getting frustrated at the lack of results in the mirror. So not only do you lose as much fat as you want, but you'll easily keep it off this time with less effort. And then in addition to showing you how to create your own diet, we also included 6 different sample meal plans for you to choose from. So if you're, say, too busy to create your own from scratch with our instructions, don't worry, you can simply pick one of our templates and adjust it to your liking. And then you'll also find a 90-day maximum fat loss training program that we've organized beautifully with a 90-day calendar where you click which day of the plan you're on, and it shows you what exercises to do with videos of every single exercise, how many reps, sets, rest, and to top it all off, there's a video at the top of each page every day explaining an overview of what you're doing that day. And then aside from making it as easy as possible to understand and follow along, what's amazing for you is that most workout programs leave you with some cookie-cutter workout that's geared for bodybuilders who already have a pretty low body fat percentage, and they're just trying to add muscle. I'm aware you don't just want to put on muscle and end up looking bigger, and that's why this program was designed with fat loss and just simply getting lean in mind. If you ever wanted to get rid of your belly, melt away fat from your body while getting your arms and your chest and your shoulders looking more muscular and cut, just getting lean, while doing short yet super effective workouts and getting in and out of the gym, not wasting 3 hours there, this is the training plan for you. And then there's a HIIT cardio system, which is where I give you what I consider the very best HIIT training exercises for fat loss, period. And same thing as before, I'll tell you what days to include HIIT cardio, so don't even think that you're going to have to do these every single day. I'm going to trick you. Like I said, 15-minute HIIT sessions, 3 days per week. You'll be burning fat literally 24/7. And the best part is you don't even have to step foot on a treadmill ever again if you don't want to. And also, we've included a fat loss supplement guide, which is not only meant to keep you from wasting your money on supplements that don't work, but to show the few that will help to fast forward your progress. And to be clear, you do not need to take supplements. Guys always assume to burn fat and build muscle, they have to take a bunch. No. You'll be a fat-burning machine once you start carb cycling, doing HIIT cardio, and begin the training plan. But once that's taken care of, I like to consider a quality recovery supplement or metabolic booster, the cherry on top. So this part's optional, but I wanted to include it simply because a lot of our clients ask. Now, considering all of this is included, it's probably safe to say that this program could get pretty expensive, but it's not. We believe that anybody who wants to get in shape should be able to get in shape. So don't worry about the price. We'll get to that here in a second. But first, I need to make sure you're aware of something. You're not just receiving our Fat Loss Extreme program with everything I just talked about included. You're also getting our Fat Loss Extreme at-home workout program so that you can do this from the comfort of your own home. Too many times, I hear about guys not achieving the body of their dreams because they're maybe intimidated by the gym or don't have access to one, or maybe they just don't have time to go due to their busy schedule. Well, say goodbye to all of that, because as I mentioned before, along with the 90-day calendar of the gym workouts with everything included, there's also an entirely separate 90-day calendar of our at-home workouts with videos of every single exercise, with the reps, with the sets, with the rest, and an overview video at the top of all of those days as well, so that you can do this literally from the floor of your living room. And while I'm talking about exercises to do from the floor of your living room, I might as well mention that I'm also going to be throwing in our six-pack shred. That this will help you get a nice strong core, help take care of any back pain if you have any, and could even get some abs poking through, leaving you feeling more confident than you ever have when you take your shirt off at the pool or at the beach or just for your significant other. This is a super effective ab training system that delivers fast results over a progression of this 90-day period with beginner, intermediate, and advanced ab workouts, videos of every single exercise, fat shredding strategies, and diet information that can't be found anywhere else. The value of this is originally $47 on our site, but you get it free when you order Fat Loss Extreme today. Now, as we talk about getting abs, you got to understand that you're going to have to make a change to your diet. And I know dieting can be a real pain in the butt, and because of that, I'm also going to throw in our fat-burning, muscle-building recipe guide packed with 47 mouth-watering recipes guaranteed to make eating healthy a whole lot more enjoyable. And I'll be honest, I've never been much of a cook. I don't enjoy trying to figure out what foods will pair well with others or how to prepare certain ingredients, and especially hate meals that take 2-3 hours to prepare, but I do love food. And that's why I hired a professional chef to help me assemble the most delicious fat-burning, muscle-building recipes that you've ever tasted, because I want to make sure that you love the food you're eating. Otherwise, I know you'll quit. So not only do these meals taste amazing, but the guide explains exactly how to cook each one, exact portions to use, exact macronutrient breakdowns of each so that you can stick to your diet perfectly still. And my favorite part, none of them take more than 20-30 minutes to make. It's a $37 recipe guide, and it's yours free today. Now, this entire package has a retail price tag of $183. But hold on, as promised, I said this wouldn't be expensive, and I'll hold true to that. But we'll get to the price in a second, because as a special thank you for watching this limited time presentation, I'm going to throw one more special bonus in, originally worth $47, yours free today with your purchase. It's our Big Arms program, an intense 12-week program designed in a progression-style training method guaranteed to pack size and definition onto your arms faster than you thought possible. And these aren't your average run-of-the-mill arm workouts. I use a very specific hypertrophy to strength training ratio, which you can learn all about in the program, as well as just muscle growth in general. And for the workouts themselves, it's a precise arm training regimen with detailed form videos of every single exercise so that you see a difference in the mirror literally from the first workout. And there's a new arm finishing technique to use every single week as time progresses so that you constantly recruit more and more muscle fibers to be stimulated, resulting in more consistent muscular growth. Now, this entire package has a retail price tag of $230. But like I said, not expensive. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that price in half for you. And then I'm going to take a little more off. For our Fat Loss Extreme program, our six-pack shred, our recipe guide, and our Big Arms program, you'll pay a one-time, hugely discounted payment of only $57. You'll have 4 of our best-selling programs for less than the cost of just 1 hour-long session with a personal trainer. Now, if you're a bit shocked that you will get all this for so cheap, hang on a second. I'm not quite done. Because of how confident I am that you're about to experience some life-changing results with everything I just mentioned, I'm willing to offer it to you right now, completely risk-free for 30 days. So if for any reason you don't enjoy getting in better shape faster than you ever have, no problem. Just shoot us an email. We'll give you your money back. No hard feelings. And one of the coolest parts of all this, in my opinion, is you don't have to wait or pay and then wait around for it to ship to you. We've made everything so that it's available in your hands in less than 2 minutes from right now. So you can get immediate access to Fat Loss Extreme, 6-Pack Shred, and our Fat Burning Recipe Guide, and our Big Arms program, all 100% risk-free when you order right now. All you need to do is click the button below this video to get started. And also, before you go, please understand that I can promise that this special offer is good today only. If you leave this page and decide that you want to get this tomorrow, you will be sorry to find out that you'll have to pay for all of these programs full price from our website. You can pull up another tab and go check the prices. You'll have to pay full price. And I know these programs work, and so do the thousands of others who have made life-changing transformations by simply following the plans included. If you're serious about getting rid of your belly, or your gut, as my dad used to call it, and dropping your body fat percentage to a number that you're not just comfortable with, but that you're truly confident about, make today the day that you took a stand, the day that you can look back on as the day that it all started. Take advantage of this limited time offer and get the body that you've always wanted and deserved. Just click the button below this video to get started now. Well, if you're still here, that means that you're probably still on the fence. So let me leave you with this. You have 3 options now, really. 1, you can keep doing what you were doing before you watched this video, and you can keep getting the same frustrating results that led you here. 2, you can take the advice that I gave you just now, and you can try to do it yourself. You can spend hours studying how to do the perfect carb cycle and test HIIT workouts until you find the best ones for fat loss, and you can research until you find the perfect training plan, gym or at home, for building hard, lean muscle, and the right ab exercises to strengthen your core, the right arm exercises to get your biceps and your triceps popping a little more, and scour the internet and test different ingredients until you come up with meals that actually taste good and hope they're healthy. All the information is 100% out there, if you have the time to research and test it all. Or 3, you can eat at home rather than going out to eat just once or twice this week. You can use that money that you'll save and make this so easy on yourself and become the best, healthiest, leanest version of yourself possible. If you truly want that, don't let today be the day that you passed up possibly the best offer you'll ever receive to achieve your dream body. You've got everything to gain, and thanks to our guarantee, literally nothing to lose. I've gone out of my way to make this as fair as I could. So all I ask is that when you achieve your dream body of yours, shoot me an email or just leave a comment on one of my social medias or tag me in a post letting me know that I helped you make a change, because that's really all I'm after. So you can either keep chugging along as you are now with 0 promise of results, or you can try Fat Loss Extreme, 6-Pack Shred, our Fat Burning Recipe Guide, and our Big Arms program right now, completely risk-free. My name is Vince Sant, and I cannot wait for you to take action and finally achieve the success that you deserve. Just click the button below this video to get started now.
That was it's sent. And the reason he's on my page is because I got a YouTube ad after being on Earthbud Designs video for constructing a millipede mountain float terrarium. And his ad, I clicked on his ad to take the quiz. I don't see a quiz here. Oh, I did take the quiz actually. It's asking for the man, male, female, how much I weigh, my height. And when I clicked on that, I was kind of a round body type. This video came up. I've always been a healthy type. Over the years, when you do gain weight and stuff starts to hurt, mold that's pretty heavy. I would love to shred off 100 pounds. So I was taking the quiz because it sparked something in my brain. Actually, right before I
carpet atop the sphagnum moss.
actually building a cloak
Last long. No worries, I'll just seal the inside of the all. After making a few calculations, I estimate
it
that
doesn't look like it, but it is huge. It's actually 3 gallons.
Roughly 3.5 gallons.
Oh, it's right around.
Really helped add some great texture and color to the setup. Yo, what's up, Serpa Squad? Tanner here, and I'm back with something a little different. I've had this cloche container sitting around for about a year, and I decided that now was finally the time to do something with it. Let's get started. This container is 9 inches across and 13 inches tall. After making a few calculations, I estimate that it holds roughly 3.5 gallons. I think this is a really good footprint to work with, but there is a slight issue. The base of the container is made of wood. If we were to make a setup with this as is, it wouldn't last long. No worries, I'll just seal the inside of the base with Pond Shield epoxy. Before doing that, I put tape wood. If we were to make a setup with this as is, it wouldn't last long. Wood. If we were to make a setup with this as is, it wouldn't last long.
Hello.
If we were to make a setup with this as is, it wouldn't last.
Yeah, my mic's a little off. It's the stream. OBS. Let's see if I can fix that. Hang on. The mic. All plugged in. Boop, boop. Okay, let's change this to this one. It should be better. That should be way better. Sorry about that. Sometimes when I leave it on the night before, I change the settings for something different than what I'm actually watching. And unless I see it on the stream and someone comment about it, I won't even realize that it's not back on. Pretty sure that sounds way better not back on. Pretty sure that sounds way better not back on. It still has distortion though. I wouldn't call that golden. Sounds kind of freaky actually, like bubbles in the background. I just don't want to mess with the settings right now because I'm in the poker tournament. If I start messing with the settings, I'm gonna not pay attention too well. But I will check my sources, my audio mixer. Let me see, do I have any filters on this thing? I do. So I don't know why it sounds that nasty. It'll have to do for now. I will reset all my settings later. This Yeti is so powerful, it literally picks up everything, which kind of disrupts the sound. And if you don't go through the filters and the settings the right way, you'll just be getting some weird mic volume. I think I need to find a bass that's not attached to this, because I think the vibration of the actual computer makes the desk rumble. And if you hear that, all I did was tap the glass, because I think the vibration of the actual computer makes the desk rumble. And if you hear that, all I did was tap the glass, because I think the vibration of the actual computer makes the desk. Yeah, don't mind. Cool crossbones. Alright, so we are ace queen, baby. I'm gonna run this. Maybe lower it a little bit. Ooh, 1,000, huh?
Mixed up the 2-part epoxy and got to painting. I applied an even coat with the brush and let it cure for 8 hours.
That's a good one. He's all in.
As expected, one layer was
looks like I'm calling.
Mixed up the second batch and repeated the process. I let everything sit for a few hours and then released the tape.
Oh, crow. Crow's bones? Crow? S-bones? Crow bones?
Wow.
Crow's bones?
Unfortunately, some of the epoxy seeped under the tape during the application.
Wow, you got 2 pair.
I simply went around with sandpaper to remove all the excess epoxy.
Ace 2. I needed a 3.
After all of that, I ended up with a clean base.
Wow.
Now it has a waterproof coating on the inside to make it suitable for an awesome terrarium.
That hurts.
To shape this setup, I'm going to primarily use Dragonstone. This is a unique clay-based stone with a ton of nooks and crannies, so you'd expect these areas would be great for plants. I expected the pieces.
So many times I get crossbones. Yeah, the W, I mean, it looks like crossbones, but I guess you're right, because the W. Didn't mind the W. I should have seen the W in there. Crossbones.
I put down a glob of super glue and applied pressure. Once the glue was dry, I got a larger piece that fit perfectly into the other.
I just want to have one of these at home. I don't know why. I just want to make my own and just see if it actually thrives.
Like before, I applied a few dabs of super glue to keep the pieces secure. I let everything dry for about 10 minutes and removed the rubber band. The super glue left behind white residue that I don't want on the hardscape. To hide it, I applied more glue and covered it with dust from the stones. The end result is something that looks totally seamless and like it is stone. I gave the structure a quick spray to clear away any excess dust and debris. I planned for the stones to fit perfectly in the middle of the enclosure, and they do. To attach it to the base, I used Great Stuff Pond and Stone Expanding Foam. I simply left the stone where it was and applied foam in the gaps under the stone.
Still in the tournament? Yeah, I'm still in, kid.
You're doing good?
Not that good, no, I'm low. I'm half stacked and there's still 541 out of 611 left.
With the stone secured, I taped off the
Go crazy, bro.
Payout is alright on this though.
1,000?
No, it's a 10K invitational. I'll get an entry into the 10K, which happens on July 26th, I believe. Top prize is 2,500.
For real?
Yeah, if I get the entry.
Oh, what the hell? Hey, you almost had a straight.
I'm on a straight draw, but there's a flush draw out there.
A flush piece of straight, right?
Yes, sir.
That's dumb.
Calling mistakes. So many times I get crossbones while pirates. I blame pirates because crossbones roll off the tongue. That is right. You gotta blame the pirates. They invented that, bro. And I keep bothering Grim. Kid.
I broke the soil up into dust for better.
Nah, you ain't bother me. No 10.
I apply the glue, cover it with the soil, and brush away any excess. Once the foam was secured, I turn the structure upside down to remove it.
Sevens win. Really? Pair sevens win that hand. Wow.
The edgework I just created with foam will act as a barrier for water, substrate, and other materials that will be held in the container. There's one more detail I want to add to the hardscape. Dragons.
We can't call 7.5 off 300, so.
I wove pieces throughout the stone to give the illusion of violence. However, during that process, I accidentally separated the stones. No worries, I sprayed foam in the middle to secure the structure. Once the foam cured, I resumed escaping. These were glued to the rocks for proper placement using the technique from earlier. I ended up with this as my hardscape. I think it turned out really well and has a lot of great texture. For the false bottom, I added a super thin layer of sand. The setup won't have much water in it, so I was able to
Aces. Full house. Wow, lucky Papa, you got lucky.
I also added a layer of crushed charcoal. This will help keep the terrarium clean.
Just tell my nephew how to play blackjack. That's interesting. How old is he?
Top that off with the blue ball stratum substrate from earlier. Normally I'd use my ATG mix or something.
That's kind of cool. Professional 5-year-old playing blackjack.
Next I put damp sphagnum moss in crevices throughout the hardscape. These will help wick and retain moisture for the plants. To this portion of the build I used flame.
Doogie Howser?
Chopped it up into smaller pieces.
More like Phil Ivy Hauser. No.
all over the patches of sphagnum moss. Right now it all looks pretty flat. Long term it will grow out into beautiful little tufts of moss. Periodically during this process, I had to spray the moss to keep it from drying out. Next I put a thin layer of damp sphagnum moss on top of the substrate. This terrarium will feature a carpet of moss, and like the areas on the hardscape, this will help keep things hydrated. For the carpet I'll use Java moss. Like before, I chopped it up into smaller pieces and added a beautiful carpet atop the sphagnum moss. Again, everything was sprayed down.
Whoa, what a rush!
By taking the Crucifolia, Bulbitis deformis or monograph, and Flaginella crowd. I started by wedging wedges between branches and crevices in the rock. These plants really helped add some great texture and color to the setup.
Dead man's hand, aces over eights. Lucky or unlucky, Papa. Yeah, you got lucky.
Next were the places.
Papa. Yeah, you got lucky.
I think they complement the hardscape very well. After that, I planted the Bulbitis atop the entire structure.
Get that gamer fuel, it's a monster. Yeah, I've tried gamer fuel, G fuel. This is a monster. I like this because it goes with me. I mean, Mr. Grimm, Monster, 666, Devil's Drink. That's just my thing. I don't know.
I gave the setup a good spray. I also taped off the glass dome to paint the outside of the space. I did that with black acrylic paint, let everything dry.
That's just looking so clean though.
What about stalks? As with any terrarium, I added springtails to help keep the environment clean.
He's got little springtails in there, bro. Living creatures. That's crazy. He's just gonna put it on his desk or something. I want one, but I want to do it myself. I don't want to have to buy it.
Our main inhabitants are some garden millipedes. I use these as part of the cleanup crew in one of my vivariums. I was only able to find 4, but that should be enough to get a colony started. I'll add more as needed.
Little millipedes. Which ones are the poisonous ones? The venomous ones? Centipedes, right? Well, it doesn't appear that he's scared of millipedes, so I'm guessing it's a centipede. One of the others is venomous. I've heard that before. What do they eat, I wonder? The vegetables? I mean the vegetables. the plants? I got Jack's, kid. It might be Halloween. Haven't checked you out in like a year. Yeah, I stopped streaming for quite a bit. I had some other things to do and I kind of went on a little hiatus, so it's cool that you didn't, because truth be told, I haven't been on in a minute. But now that I'm back, I don't mind the followers and the viewers. I got 2 pair, Jackson 3s. Gotta go for 150, baby. Come on, Lucky. What you got? He folded. At least I doubled up. No, I didn't double up. I quarter chip stacked.
I also think the plants contrast well with the stones and really pop out. I tried to keep my selection as small as possible to help retain a sense of scale. Could I have went smaller? Yes, but these are the plants I had to work with at the time. The millipedes, of course, add interest and movement to the setup. I will have to occasionally feed them to keep them happy.
What do they eat?
They really like crested gecko diet, so that's what I'll use. Otherwise, they may resort to eating the plants. I typically don't have issues with that, though. Like any closed terrarium, it doesn't require water. The ambient humidity should be enough to keep things hydrated. However, since I have to open it to feed the millipedes, I will water it at that time to compensate for lost humidity. Overall, I think it's just a really interesting design to look at. I can't wait to see this one grown in and what the future holds for it. I'm curious to know what you thought about it down in the comments. Let me know. As always, I hope you enjoyed this one and learned something new. If you did, let me know what the like. It helps out immensely. Until next time, Surfer Squad, take care. If you did, let me know what the like. It helps out immensely. Until next time, Surfer Squad, take care.
Today's business moves fast, and your team needs complete tools to be efficient. Critical work data lives in email, spreadsheets, and project management systems. What if you could free yourself from this one-size-fits-all software? Introducing Amazon Honeycode. With Honeycode, build custom apps for your team without programming. Run business processes, manage permissions, and share real-time data. Build a better way.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2.
Build a better way.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Haven't checked you out in like years. Centipedes are venomous, and millipedes are actually insect repellent if you rub them on you. Oh shoot. Okay. Like killing them, or just rubbing them on you. Lucky's turn. If you're in the game, you can win. Centipedes are hunters. Millipedes eat leaves and stuff. Y'all, I'll hang out with you for a bit. Check 3 4. Yeah, I'll leave you in the feed, bro. I'll leave you in the feed. He's also doing a Venus flytrap terrarium, which I kind of want to see, but I'll leave you in the feed for a bit. We'll do this together, my friend. See if I get a win. We'll do this together, my friend. See if I get a win. Oh, yo, my mic sucks right now. No need to kill a millipede. I like that it rhymes. No need to kill a millipede. Just be thankful he is not venomous, cause he might sting you in the face. You don't want that. It's like mace in your face. The tears rolling down your eyes. Poor millipedes, they want to strive. They don't want to die. And the beat drop. Sorry. Monsters got me in a good mood, bruh. So here's one going out to the millipedes of the world. Every boy and girl, put your hands together for the millipedes of the world. Millipedes of the world, they are just fine, sitting all around just doing their time. Da-da-da-da-da. Freestyle was good. I doubt it, but I enjoyed myself. Oh man. It must sound nasty with the mic that I got. I could end the stream and then reset the settings because it like resets the whole thing. But the problem is when you have one mic on and then you stream and then switch it, the settings stay from the old mic, which distorts the new mic if you don't have it calibrated the right way. And I mean, this is a Blue Yeti, bro. Like, Yeah, I'm having mic issues like crazy today, but I think it unplugged when I moved it around. Yep. Keep it up top. That'd be better. Got the pop filter right in my face. Oh no! I was gonna call that raised. I'm out on Jack 8. It's getting grim. It's getting dire. I'm at 433 to 459. I gotta make a move soon and try to double up here, because if I don't, these antes and this blind's gonna start killing. I need that one good hand. I don't think it should be suited cards, although that's a pretty good. There's a straight draw on that. Get the 5, 6, 7. So they're suited connectors. They're just not suited runners. Down to 10% from chip leader. Time for a slow play or major bluff. I don't like slow plays here. I just like that one hand that you just put it all in. Just try to double up, make you last a little longer in the tournament. I'm gonna slow play, yeah, because I still got 2,000, which ain't that bad. If I can get a couple good hands here, maybe win a couple small pots, and at the same time be wary of that one hand that I could just drop everything on. I might come out of this okay. That's why I don't like suited cards that are so low. You never get that top spot with anything that falls. That's why I like playing royals on a suited. Yeah, right here I don't even have a straight draw. I'm drawing dead here, bro. You're still in it. I'm rooting for you. Thank you, thank you. Keeping hopes alive, man. Keeping hopes alive. Mean dream, keep it clean, sour the cream, scour the scene. I like that. Mean dream, keep it clean, scour the scene. Do you know what I mean? Bambarine. The meanest mean you have ever seen. Keeping the laser beam like gazer beam. Incredibles. All Russians marry Scour Dream. All Russians marry Scour Dream. Trying to figure that one out. I don't know exactly what it means. All Russians marry Scour Dream. comrade. How do they salute? As you were, my friend, as you were.
You felt about me in the way I felt about you. Я почувствовал, что вы тоже изменились. Here, you're two guys showing each other. But I guess that's better than 20 million. Я думаю, что это лучше, чем даже 20 миллионов долларов. What I'm trying to say, if I can change, я думаю, что каждый может измениться. And you can change. Вы можете измениться. Everybody can change. Каждый может измениться. One thing to my kid who should be home sleeping. Merry Christmas, kid.
I got my hand, bro. I got my hand. I gotta see this one out. Alright, all in. That's what I got to go on. Everybody's calling, bro. I hope I land a Jack Queen King. That's best case scenario is Jack Queen King. Oh, aces. Aces up. I hope I have the best kicker. I gotta watch that flush draw. There's clovers out there. Ace 4, Queen King. As long as the 10 doesn't drop, I'm good. As long as an ace doesn't drop. Oh, he had ace 4. I didn't see the kicker, bro. He got me on the 2 pair. That sucks. He won with ace 4 when I had the ace 10, dude. I finished 385th in the tournament. No. Well, that's not nice. Now what? Now what? Like this one right here. Watch. See if I can find it. This one.
Clouds absorb moisture and release
rain. Snow is like rain, but
it's frozen.
Princes and learning to life.
It was the right call, but he just had that 4, dude. He got lucky.
You see that filter?
Yeah.
You're the only one who can get anything out of that thing. What we need you to do is take a pebble inside there and jam the gears. You do.
Sure.
I don't understand it.
Here, this thing has a lifetime guarantee and it breaks. I had to clean the tank myself, take all the fish out, put them in bags and... Where'd the fish go?
Come on, Pete! Come on. You can do it!
Just a little further.
You can do it.
That's the shortest red line I've ever seen.
Come on, Pete.
Oh.
Now what?
Now what? Did all that, and then finally, like, now what? I love that. Alright, there's a few tournaments on, like, in 11 minutes there's a $20, and at 11 there's a $50, but I think I'm good for today. That's about all I want to play today. I just wanted to play the big tournaments. Lost $2,000 in two different $1,000 tournaments, and now I lost my 10,000 qualifier, but they're going to drop a lot more. There's another 10,000 qualifier tomorrow, another 1,000 tomorrow, another 1,000 tomorrow, so it looks like tomorrow I'll get on right around the same time and do the same dang thing, hopefully with different results. When you win the all-in, do the Finding Nemo sequels. Mine, my chips. That's funny. I actually want to do this.
For the past 2 years that I've been consistently active on YouTube, a lot of you have asked me to do a setup for carnivorous plants, with a lot of those requests being for Venus flytraps. I kept saying in comments that I would eventually do something with them, and the time has finally come. The reason that I put this off for so long is that there are some logistical issues with keeping Venus flytraps in a terrarium. As a result, this isn't
How's the volume on
traps
the stream?
in a terrarium. As a result, this
How's the volume on the
traps
stream?
in a terrarium.
That's not that bad.
Build that may or may not be successful. I will talk more about that as we work through the build, but I think we may be able to pull something off. Anyways, let's get into the build. I've been in and out of Walmart several times in the past few weeks. They've had Venus flytraps in the garden section, but no one was buying them. Naturally, I felt sorry for the plants because no one wanted them, and I decided that it was finally time to do this build.
I swear
So
I'm
I
gonna
bought
build
3
this
of
thing
them
one
at
day.
$5 a piece in hopes to make a cool terrain.
I am so gonna buy this one day. I am gonna make. I have an aquarium. I'm gonna seal it because right now it doesn't hold water. It holds, but about halfway. And then I'm gonna build this.
Requirement. Since they are a temperate plant, they need a cool, dormant period to survive long term. This is by far the thing that has me most concerned, but it may be less of an issue than I originally thought. Keep this in mind because we'll revisit it near the end of the video. Another specialized aspect about caring for fly traps are their substrate requirements. Unlike most plants that obtain nutrients through the soil, fly traps, like other carnivorous plants, receive their nutrients from eating insects. Therefore, any nutrients present within the substrate will actually be harmful to the plant, so we're going to have to mix up a custom substrate blend. Much like the substrate that we typically use for terrariums, we want this substrate to drain well, resist compaction, and stay moist without becoming soggy. To achieve this, we're going to use
Volume is fine except the vibration to your table, which I know you know about. Yeah, I do know about that. I mean, I could pretty much move the PC far away from the desk, and that will suppress some of it. But man, these Blue Yetis really pick up everything, bro. And I have it on the correct settings as far as the mic goes. It's just the OBS stream that I would have to reset and then go through the settings one more time to adjust the audio, and that would take another half an hour. And since I'm gonna get off in a little while, I think it's just not worth it. I'll just stay like this for a little bit and run through it. But terrariums don't need to be watertight, but due diligence. No, I know they don't need to be watertight, but I want it to be watertight because if I allow it to hold too much water, it'll leak, and I don't want water getting to my house and on the floor, on the carpets, so that it creates mold and stuff like that. Maybe if it was an outdoor terrarium, or if I had it like on a countertop, but I'm not planning on putting it on a countertop. I'm actually planning to put it on my furniture, which can warp the wood and stuff like that. So I gotta be careful. I would just want it to be done right. And to be done right, I think I gotta seal the whole thing correctly, which is something I've been planning to do to that aquarium for years now. And I think this would probably be the best option, is to have a bunch of Venus flytraps growing out of it. I think that'd be cool. I think I'm gonna grab a couple of these guys' ideas, because he has so many. Maybe like the millipede thing. Like if I could breed the millipedes within the terrarium, it would be self-sustaining. Because if you notice in the last video, he actually put the millipedes in there. Like, I can have a place where they can like just walk around, and every now and then they'll just step into the Venus flytraps little thing. I don't know, is that humane? Does that sound kind of? I'd rather do that than have to like go out there and kill a bunch of crickets to feed them. Just make sure flytrap soil is low in nitrogen. Okay. Yeah, well, this guy knows what he's doing, so I'm gonna I'll probably use what he's using, and maybe get a sundew. What's a sundew? Nothing. What's a sundew with you? What's a sundew? Nothing. What's a sundew with you? Alright, images. Oh, these guys look wicked, bro. Oh, they're those honey making plants. I've seen these before. Yeah, they do that much, the sugar droplets. That's why they call them sundews too. Here, let me get there off the Wikipedia. Okay, Drosera, commonly known as sundews, is one of the largest genera of carnivorous plants with at least 194 species. These members of the family Droseraceae lure, capture, and digest insects using stalked mucilaginous glands, mucilaginous glands covering their leaf surfaces. The insects are used to supplement the poor mineral nutrition of the soil in which the plants grow. Various species, which vary greatly in size and form, are native to every continent except Antarctica. That's cool. I would have killer plants. What's the matter? Nothing. What's the matter with you? I like that TikTok. Would you like to kill an alien something or a matter baby? Would you rather eat an alien something or a matter baby? And then the guy asks, what's the matter, baby? Nothing. What's the matter with you?
Components, including dried sphagnum moss, peat moss, and quartz sand. When choosing these components, it's extremely important to find ones that aren't enriched with nutrients. The reason being that we want this substrate to be as
Okay, wait, go back.
Well, resist compaction and stay moist without becoming soggy. To achieve this, we're going to use 3 components, including dried sphagnum moss, peat moss, and quartz sand. When choosing these components, it's extremely important to find ones that aren't enriched with nutrients. The reason being that we want this substrate to be as absent of nutrients as possible.
Why?
Now then, we'll get roughly 1 part of peat moss,
oh, you the nitrogen?
2 parts of dried sphagnum moss, and 1 part of quartz sand, and mix them together.
Quartz sand, sphagnum moss, quartz sand.
After everything,
whatever you call the middle one.
Together, you should end up with something that looks like
Okay,
We'll get roughly 1 in quartz sand.
The first one.
Components, including dried sphagnum moss, moss, and quartz
peat
sand.
moss.
When choosing these components, it's extremely important to find ones that aren't enriched with nutrients. The reason being that we want this substrate to be as absent of nutrients as possible.
I think he just repeated himself.
1 part of peat moss, 2 parts of dried sphagnum moss, and 1 part of quartz sand, and mix them together. After everything is thoroughly mixed together, you should end up with something that looks like this. There are other substrate mixes that could work, but this one seems like it would work well for a terrarium and will fulfill the plant's needs. Of course, we're also going to need a suitable container. I already had this awesome jar in my stockpile, and although I was saving it for something else, I knew it would be perfect for this build. Plus, that gives me the excuse to buy another one later on. When choosing a container for this build, you're going to want something that's decent in size because these...
Would you like to grow a fly trap? Doesn't have to be a fly trap. Yeah, they eat meat. Silica sand is fine, but moss or vermiculite to retain moisture. Vermiculite. I want to pronounce it right. I just don't know which way to do it. Alright, let me see.
Vermiculite.
Okay. Said it right the first time. C like K. Yeah, hard C. Cool. Vermiculite. See, I learned something today. I learned something.
Plants can get somewhat large. Now we're ready to build the terrarium. First, let's start out with a false bottom.
Well, my aquarium is way bigger than that. I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me turn on the light real quick. Boom. Let's see. With the green screen. Can you see that? With the camera closer. Yeah. Right there. It's a 40-gallon, dude. That would house a bunch of fly traps. This thing's zoomed up. And put it a little lower. Yep. Lighting kind of sucks in the house right now. I don't have any lights on, but kind of not in the mood to move any furniture today, so I ain't trying to mess with anything. I'm just gonna go by what is already set. Rice husks work too. Pooh, I see you need books. Actually, that is supposed to be my entertainment center, and I haven't moved my bed from my kid's room, who my little son kind of graduated the bed that he has, and he's been staying a lot at his girlfriend's house. He had a small full bed, which he still uses, but I haven't graduated the young one to, instead of sleeping with me, to sleeping with his bigger bro. So I get to have the smaller room, which houses just me, and then they're gonna get to keep the master bedroom because my son's smaller queen and his full fits a lot better in that room, and my California king baby fits perfectly in just a smaller room with not a lot of space, but I'll adapt. And that entertainment center right there is supposed to go at the foot of the bed. And once I can afford it, my big, hopefully 80-inch screen TV, where I will be more than happy to Netflix and chill, baby. All by myself. Yeah, that doesn't sound right, but it might be true. It's not Netflix's chill, it's just more like watch Netflix and chill.
We'll make this just like we would for other terrariums. You can grab.
Nerd. He called me a nerd. He called me a nerd. Yo, Ogre got old though, bro. This guy used to play in all kinds of TV parts.
Why did you go with Dustin Diamond for all those commercials? Don't you know he's a real nerd? I mean, that dude's a real nerd. Next time,
Dustin Diamond, he's from Saved by the Bell. He's Cheech. I mean, Screech.
me, the Ogre, for all your crazy ads. Find them on Insurance King's Facebook page and YouTube. Bye, nerds.
Bye, nerds. Nerds. Where are they? I think they're talking about us. Crow's Bones. I think he's talking about me. Yeah, you can fit like 4 small fly traps in there. No, it's a 40 gallon, dude. I could fit like 10. Oh, autocorrect again. So, sounds like you're a good dad, giving up the king for your little man. No, I'm not giving up my cow king bed though. I'm keeping the bed. I'm just keeping the smaller room. I got what you were laying down. Like how you were laying down. La la, you don't know Forgotten Realms. Popcorn. That's what we need. Some popcorn, bro. I think we just went through all of our. I get those big 3-pound boxes of popcorn, and there isn't anymore. So you can tell how many times I sit down and watch movies with my kids. Gotta go to Smart and Final, get another box. Now we get into 90s TV. Actually, this is 80s, I believe, or early 90s. You might be right. No, it's 80s, because the original Nerds was, the original Nerds, it wasn't called Revenge of the Nerds, it was just called Nerds, right? Let me see, franchise. The original movie, the series began with the eponymous film and was followed by 3 sequels. So it was Nerds, Revenge of the Nerds, Nerds in Paradise, Revenge of the Nerds 3, The Next Generation, and Revenge of the Nerds, and then Nerds in Love, 1994. It ran 10 years, and they made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. Wow. They made 8 of them, and this guy's hilarious. The main nerd, I forget his name.
See that bright brain full of activity?
His name is, hold on. But I used to quote him a lot when I was young. I'd go, Because that's how he laughs. His name is Robert Carradine. That's his name. And you will recognize him from other work as the Long Riders and the Cowboys. Let me see other movies. He was in Kung Fu. He's David Carradine's brother? Oh, they're half brothers. I didn't even know that. They're freaking related, bro. These guys are two icons and they're brothers. I didn't even know that. That's crazy. This guy's related to freaking David Carradine, the Kung Fu guy. That's classic, yo. So you can learn something new every day just because you have the audacity to go check it out. He was in Orca. That's crazy. The Long Riders. The Big Red One. This guy had a career, bro. And then there's the other dude. What was his name? Kind of always Curtis Armstrong. Dudley. Booger. They call him Booger. He always gave a gay vibe. But in the end, he was always one of the crazier badass nerds that just didn't care. And he came out of Risky Business, Better Off Dad, King of the Nerds. Let me see. Yeah, because I've seen that throughout their career. I've seen them in different stuff. See, he was in Dodgeball, the movie. I remember that, which is a funny movie, by the way. Emperor's New School. Let me see. The Show Reaper, Shanghai Noon. He was cut from the movie Shanghai Noon, though. Smoking Aces, that 70s show. He was in iCarly. Crazy. Guys had a career, too. Alright, so, let me see. Orville Purple-Bacher. Room to grow, you can split the fly traps. That's right, I can. That's a good idea. Split them all. Like have them single or whatever, just like spread out or whatever. The 90s thing was Saved by the Bell. It was the 90s thing. Saved by the Bell was the stuff. Dustin Diamond, yeah. Poindexter, David Carradine. Yep, snatched the fly trap from my hand, grasshopper. Dodgeball, nobody makes me bleed my own blood. Yeah, quoting the Dodgeball movie, bro. Did you know? A lot of people don't know this, but did you know that one scene where they threw wrenches, the guy in the wheelchair, the coach, throws wrenches at Justin Long and at Vince Vaughn and all them. The guy in the wheelchair, the coach, the actor, is the original bad guy from the old school Beastmaster movie, bro. That old school Beastmaster movie. He is the bad guy from that. And I think he died. Yeah, you're right. But that is so cool. If you look up Beastmaster villain, you'll see that it's the same actor. Yeah, I know, right? It's the original old school, like Conan the Barbarian Beastmaster movie. He was the same dude. He had a legacy there too, bro. These actors, they be coming back and stuff. I love that when I found that out a lot of years back.
And carbon fiberglass window screen mesh. Here I just have a bit of black gravel and some spare window screen from previous builds. When cutting this out, I find it easiest to use an object that's slightly larger than the diameter of the container.
By the power of Grayskull!
So in combination with an X-Acto knife, I use this bucket as a guide and cut out the mesh. With the mesh cut out, we can dump the gravel into the jar, which I did using a folded piece of paper. I recommend going more generous on this layer for fly traps than we would for other plants. Just like in other terrariums, this layer will help keep standing water separate from the plant's roots, among other things.
He's doing this on carpet?
After getting a good layer of gravel down in the jar, the window screen was then put in place.
Window screen. Like a mini filter?
Now we'll move on to the substrate layer. To add this component, I use a piece of paper again.
He's trying to keep them separated so that the carbon at the bottom filters the bad water, and it keeps this water, the water on the substrate kind of clean.
Well, I suspect that charcoal will add unwanted nutrients into the terrarium, and as I expressed earlier, that's not something that the flat shops will take kindly to.
By the power, He-Man. That is He-Man. Skeletor. Oh, this guy is good. You might like Life in Jars. You know, that He-Man reminds me of the He-Man movie, too. Did you know that Drago, who is the bad guy in Rocky, the Russian dude that I just showed you, he actually played He-Man in the original He-Man the movie. And back when I was a kid, we used to go to Universal Studios regularly, and they had Masters of the Universe, the live action show with like explosions, and He-Man would come out and slay the dragon and kill Skeletor and stuff. That's why I became such a He-Man fan, because I saw that. I must have seen that show about 10 different times in my life, and that is freaking awesome. But anyway, Ivan Drago, the bad guy in Rocky, is the original He-Man from the first He-Man live action movie ever. Dolph Lundgren is his name. He actually comes out in the Expendables with Sylvester Stallone too, and he played Universal Soldier at one time with Claude Van Damme. So he's had quite a career too, bro.
After getting a nice layer of substrate in the container, we could then unpot the fly traps. In doing so, you want to be as gentle as possible to avoid overstressing the plant. As such, I'm leaving...
Oh, this guy is good. You might like Life in Jars. You know what? I'm going to search that up real quick, because that seems interesting. Life in Jars. YouTube. Oh wow, 6 million views. Subscribed, 230k subscribers.
It's spring. It's warm outside. In fact, it was the hottest May in the Netherlands for the past 3 centuries. In other words, the perfect time to make a spring ecosphere.
What is that?
I've been on Noom for 4 months. I've lost 27 pounds, and I feel like
Aquascaping, a locally sourced tadpole aquarium. Ooh, tadpoles.
I'm down 10 kilos in 4.
Look very closely. Can you see it? And now, it's a little toad.
Oh, it is a toad. I want to know what that thing was, though.
In this video, I will be talking a bit about what other animals are living in this aquarium, and also anyway, I'll tell you what you are seeing here.
That's a tadpole.
There's quite a few Chironomidae or midge larvae in this aquarium for up to 3 whole days. Here we have the 2 breeding isopods we saw earlier. I hear you thinking, wow, are they still going at it? Well, dear viewers, they can actually remain in this position for up to 3 whole days.
Wow.
Woo. There's actually quite a lot of aquatic isopods in this aquarium. Most are stowaways from the sticks, bark and plants. This little fella right here is the smallest bebe isopod I've ever seen. I can only distinguish about 3.5 pairs of legs. Adults have 7 pairs of legs. Here is a bad scale comparison with my finger. When aquatic isopods first hatch from their Daphnia and Cyclops...
I wanted to know what this is. What the hell is that, bro? It looks like a devil bug. That thing looks wicked, bro. It looks like Spawn with ears.
Midge pupae. They look like them in this aquarium, but most of them have actually turned into these phantom midge pupae. They look really interesting. Phantom midge larvae are actually hunters. They mostly feed on small crustaceans like Daphnia and Cyclops. The pupae don't do much.
It turns to look the other way. Oh my god, that thing looks wicked. I'm scared of it, bro. It's got a nose. It's got 2 eyes. And it's got ears. It looks like a brown from the Tick. What's his name? Arthur. He looks like a brown Arthur. Okay. The flytrap filters the water by evaporation. The crab was so the root system doesn't drown. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. But he uses carbon for that, right? I will break you, cause this is Mother Russia. For flowers on YouTube, I like your quotes, bro. You're really good on your game. For flowers on YouTube, does no filter aquarium you might like. For flowers on YouTube. Okay, I don't get what you mean. For flowers on YouTube, does no filter aquarium you might like? There's no filter? Scariest water beetle. They eat those in Thailand. Let me see. Water beetle. Those things swim around, bro. I actually like them. They look kind of cool. Now this thing though, it looks wicked. Like that thing looks like from another planet, yo.
Much, on the outside at least. They just float in the water.
Did you not see it turn around though? Look at this thing.
Really interesting. Phantomid's larvae are actually hunters. They mostly feed on small crustaceans like Daphnia and Cyclops. The pupae don't do much, on the outside at least. They just float in the water column, hoping to not get eaten. I don't know the exact numbers, but I can imagine only a very small percentage of eggs make it to adult animals. On the inside, it's a completely different story, of course. The pupa is slowly metamorphosizing into an adult animal. Adults rarely eat. Their main goal is reproducing.
It has a final form. That's cool.
On the inside, it's a completely different story, of course.
Look at it.
The pupa is slowly metamorphosizing into an adult animal. Adults rarely eat. Their main goal is reproducing. They don't live for very long as adults. This little guy right here is another insect larva, but from a completely different animal.
I'm gonna try looking at this guy's stuff because this is kind of interesting. But I already started one video, so I can't distract from what I'm already doing too much. I'll save that tab, but I want to see this guy hook up a fly trap.
Substrate around the base of the plant. From here, I planted one of the fly traps in the back of the container using various tools. I only started with one so that I could get a feel for how I wanted to hardscape everything from there. Afterward, I got some black lava rock and hardscaped a portion of the terrarium. I didn't really have a set idea in mind for this, so I just let the scape take shape on its own. After escaping for a bit, I placed an additional...
It's over 9,000!
Then, I continued to escape the terrarium. Eventually, I got to the point where I could start adding some moss and liverwort. Like the fly traps, these are temperate mosses.
That's going to be the hard part, is finding all these little plants that I want to add to it. Moss. Okay, and it's going to have to be in shopping. Oh wow, Etsy does it. Look at, there's some at Etsy. There's terrarium moss at Petco. ZooMed all natural reptile terrarium moss substrate. Oh, that's pretty cool. It's not gonna explain how to grow it though, huh? I mean, I guess it's pretty easy or forward, but oh, this looks beautiful, bro. I want it already. That is so cool. I didn't know how much of a thing this actually was. Like, there's a lot of people like into stuff like this, huh? Alright. Good.
They shouldn't have any issue getting through a dormant period.
So it's pretty easy to get then.
Mosses is that they may contaminate the setup with unwanted nutrients, but I guess we'll see what happens.
You just make sure the fly traps have support like he's showing. You can collect moss, blend a bit with milk, and pour it where you want. Oh, that's cool to know. That's interesting. I'm not so into it, but I nerd out about it. Yeah, that's totally what I'm doing right now. I'm nerding out because this is kind of cool. Like, I barely found this channel. Okay, this was the process that happened. My kids, they came up on a little turtle. My son found a turtle, and his mother, who lives in Rialto with my daughter, my oldest daughter, now has 3 kids of their own. So it's his 3 little sisters. Well, it's 2 sisters and a brother. And because he got that turtle, he decided to give it to them little kids. But for about a week, I was actually here taking care of the turtle, and I was gonna fix up that aquarium for it, but because it doesn't hold water and I wasn't able to get the stuff to do it, and they actually picked up the turtle a lot sooner than I had anticipated. I thought I was gonna be here a lot longer. I wasn't able to set it up for him. And because of that little turtle, it was a red-eared slider, I began doing all kinds of research on YouTube about it so that I can see what kind of stuff people were doing to keep it like happy and feed it the right stuff and stuff like that. In that process, I found people that actually build backyard turtle ponds, and this kind of snowballed me into this whole keeping living organisms and living things inside your home, outdoor backyard ponds, koi ponds, and all kinds of other stuff. And this is just kind of the branch of where I'm at, because it was like certain videos that kind of had the same algorithm that I just started to watch. And this guy, I like the way he does it, because his photography, the lighting and everything, it just makes it look so beautiful. I just wish like I could have that all over the house, like in different areas of the living room, you know, have one on top of my bookshelf or have one on my desk and stuff like that, which I thought was pretty cool. I mean, he built literally a gaming desk with his computer with a terrarium inside of it, and I thought that was so wet. And I'm gonna show you it right now. Here, let's go here. There it is, Serpent Design, boom boom. Alright, so I'm gonna go to his channel and then I'm gonna search under his videos for desk terrarium. Look at this thing.
Over the last 2 months, I've lost about 20 pounds, which blows my mind.
After 3 months, I've actually...
Yo, what's up, Surface Squad?
Look at this thing, bro. Come on now. This is just sick to have right at your keyboard. Look at that. That is lit. Throw some frogs in there or something. Look at this PC right underneath too. It's got a nice PC.
And there you have it, a DIY terrarium computer desk. I think it turned out extremely well and is the perfect workstation for a terrarium artist. Since it's something that I spend so much time at, I really wanted to do it right the first time. I'm sure there are things I could have done better, but in my opinion it's a beautiful and functional piece of art. From the live edge to the high gloss finish of the wood and the forest floor vibe of the terrarium, this is the perfect desk for me, and you saw exactly how I built it.
That's all alive, bro.
But it could easily be done by cutting a hole in an existing table for a terrarium compartment. Maybe I could show that in the future. Anyway, that's gonna do it for this one. I really hope you enjoyed this and learned something new.
That's just sick. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay, let me see. Pool sliders just need basking area and balanced diet, not just meat. Yeah, I know, they're omnivores and they need to bask in the sun really often. Be both in 75% water, 25% land. Camera angles are a skill. They are. Why my phone likes poo. I don't know why. The fauna in his desk is micro, but it is awesome. Yeah, it is. He actually said something about that. It wanted to be smaller.
I went through the terrarium and placed patches of moss in a way that I found aesthetically pleasing. During this process, I also added some more lava rocks and a third Venus flytrap.
Yeah, no, he's able to put 3 in this little jar. I can imagine I could put at least 10 in my aquarium. It's a good 36 by 24 inches wide and long. It's 3 feet across, 1.5 feet wide, 2 feet tall. And this is like a little 16-inch jar, so I'm guessing I could do a lot more with it. I should record it too and post it on YouTube.
Eventually, I ended up with the final design seen here. That said, we're going to have to add some water before we can call it quits. In doing so, you'll have to use distilled water, reverse osmosis water, or rainwater. Pretty much any other type of water is going to have minerals in it, which unfortunately would kill your fly trap.
Oh snap. You gotta be buying gallons of distilled water for this thing. Okay, hey Grim, I gotta go, but I will come chill when I can. Gonna be out at sea for a bit. What's up with that? Navy. Yacht trip. Sailing, maybe? Whatever it is, it sounds like it's gonna be fun, bro. Handle that.
I picked up a gallon of distilled water.
There it is. Gallons of distilled water. No minerals. Flytraps don't like minerals?
At Walmart for around $1, so it's not
hat trick.
Not hard.
Hat trick. As in scoring more than 3 goals? Right on. Catch you later. Hat trick. Alright. Keep it rolling, bro. And thanks for joining the stream, kid.
To come by. If you plan this out ahead of time, it's just as easy to get some rainwater totally free. Finally, when watering your terrarium, you want to add enough to moisten the substrate, but not so much that you create a soggy environment. Also, since this is an open container, I'm going to have to periodically add more water. Overall, I like how this terrarium turned out, and I'm hoping that we can get it to last long term. As I said, Venus flytraps are a temperate plant which require a dormancy period. If you want your plant to last more than a few years, there's absolutely no way around it. During this period of time, the temperature will more or less cause the plant to go to sleep long term.
Say that again?
Overall, I like how this terrarium turned out, and I'm hoping that we can get it to last long term. As I said, Venus flytraps are a temperate plant which require a dormancy period. If you want your plant to last more than a few years, there's absolutely no way around it. During this period of time, the temperature will more or less cause the plant to go to sleep, where it will reawaken in the spring. To replicate this natural cycle, I will most likely put my terrarium in the garage, just in front of the window. I'll keep my terrarium there for around 3 or 4 months before bringing it back inside. To be more specific, I'll put it out there in November and return it to the terrarium shelf in late March. During this period, I'm not going to do any updates or anything. I'll simply document the process and then release a single video when the time comes. Again, this is an experimental build and I'm not sure if it will even work. I think it very well could, but we're going to have to be patient and wait and see what happens. And that about wraps it up. I know that a lot of you also wanted to see a tropical carnivorous plant terrarium, but we'll save that for another video. I just wanted to start here since a lot of you were requesting this video.
Alright, so what I'm curious about is sundew. Can sundews and fly traps coincide? What are water wheels? They live in water? They live in water. Oh, gotcha. It's a picture plant. Life in Joel's.
Anyways, thanks for tuning in. If you liked the video and haven't done so already, take a second and give me a thumbs up. I'd greatly appreciate it. Also, if you want to see what becomes of this terrarium and you're not yet
building the African bulldog frog paludarium.
What's up, Surfer Squad? Tanner here, and I'm back.
Paludarium.
Back with another Paludarium build. In this one, I'm finally going to set up the display for my African bullfrog, Samson. It's not at all necessary to keep these types of frogs in a setup this elaborate, or with this prominent of a water feature, but if you have the means to do so, then it's definitely a viable option. Now then, let's get into the build. For this one, I'm going to use a 40-gallon breeder. Unlike some of the other paludariums I've made thus far, this setup will have a dedicated land area. To partition off this area, I'm going to repurpose an old 10-gallon tank. It was all scratched up and not worth setting up again as a display tank, so it was dismantled. Once I had a few pieces laid out on my table, I scraped off all of the old silicone with a razor scraper and wiped them clean with some rubbing alcohol. Sure, I could have went out and bought glass or got scraps from somewhere else, but I'm actually trying to get rid of a lot of my older, smaller aquariums, and repurposing them for stuff like this is the best option. After all of that, I made some measurements and marked for them with a China marker. Then I scored the glass along these marks with a glass cutter. From there, the glass could be snapped along the edge of a table. As is, the edges are pretty sharp, so they needed sanded down with some sandpaper. Lastly, I cleaned the freshly cut panes of glass with rubbing alcohol to get them nice and clean. The same process was repeated in the 40 gallon so that the new panes could be attached. The pieces of glass were placed in the aquarium and secured with masking tape. I flipped the aquarium on its side and marked along the edges of the glass with a China marker.
That is so cool.
The tape and glass were then removed, so I could apply a bead of silicone along the guide I just made. Once I applied a bead of silicone, the glass was placed into it, and I smoothed out the excess silicone with my finger. Then I added the other piece of glass and taped everything in place. This was all left to sit for 24 hours, and then the tape was removed. Then I went around with the razor scraper and cleaned up the excess silicone. From there I got a piece of egg crate light diffuser and cut out a few strips with wire cutters. These will be used to more evenly distribute the weight of the stones I'll use to create the shoreline. To do so, I'm using some Red Creek jasper, which is more commonly referred to as freak rock. I set these out in a preliminary scape to get a feel for the material. Once I had a better idea of what I wanted to do, I added a few pieces of polystyrene insulation to create more height without adding more stones. In doing so, I added the stones and more foam as needed.
Polystyrene foam, is that safe for animals?
During this process, I also added a few net pots for plants later on.
My name is Oscar, and I deliver packages for Amazon.
Oh, do you now?
Because my girlfriend and I just had a baby.
Oh, do you now?
Looking back, Amazon completely changed. If anything, they took it overboard on the safety, and that's what I love. We're all working towards a common goal.
Oh, are we now?
Today's business moves fast, and your team needs the right tools to be efficient. Critical work data lives in emails, spreadsheets, and project management systems. What if you could free yourself from this one-size-fits-all software? Introducing Amazon Honeycode. With Honeycode, build custom apps for your team without programming. Run business processes, manage permissions, and share real-time data. Build a better way to work. Amazon Honeycode.
From there I worked in several segments of Mupani wood to complement the initial scape. I wanted these to look almost like roots growing through on an eroded bank. Now we're just about ready to add the expanding foam. Before doing so, I filled all of the net pots with paper towels so they wouldn't get filled with foam. And here's the finalized scape. I don't know about you, but I can see the vision. Maybe you'll see it better once everything is attached together with expanding foam. For this one I used Great Stuff Pond and Stone expanding foam. As I usually do, I made sure to get in all of the cracks and applied a lot of it so that I can carve it out later on. After letting the foam sit overnight, it was time to carve. Per usual, I used a razor scraper to meticulously carve it out. I know that carving it is a lot of work, but it's worth the trouble to ensure you get exactly what you want. It also allows the silicone to adhere better because of the textured surface. After carving the foam, I went and covered it with silicone and some garnet sand. I did this a portion at a time by applying the silicone, evening it out, and then covering it with the sand. I made sure to press the sand down so it would actually get embedded into the silicone rather than just sitting on the surface. From there I let everything sit for 24 hours to cure. Then it was time to add some detail work. What I did was paint some silicone on the top portion of the structure and covered it with cocoa fiber.
Wait, do that again?
Overnight, it was time to carve. By applying After carving the foam, I went and covered it with silicone and some garnet sand.
Garnet sand.
I did this a portion at a time by applying the silicone, evening it out, and then covering it with the sand. I made sure to press the sand down so it would actually get embedded into the silicone rather than just sitting on the surface. From there I let everything sit for 24 hours to cure. Then it was time to add some detail work. What I did was paint some silicone on the top portion of the structure and covered it with cocoa fiber. I did this to make the transition into the land area more gradual and to add more texture. I let all of it sit for a few hours and used the shop vac to remove any excess. Now we'll move on to the background. To start, I have a piece of pre-cut cocoa fiber liner, which I covered completely with silicone on the back side. This is important so that there's enough tack to hold the fiber onto the tank while the silicone cures and to hold the fiber long term. I applied a little bit at a time and evened it out with a paint scraper as seen here. From there, the liner was carefully pressed onto the back of the tank. As is, this is a pretty boring and flat background, so let's add the details. What I did was add a few pieces of Mupani wood and prop them up with insulation foam. After that, I built up some sections of the background with expanding foam. Like before, I let the foam sit overnight to cure. Then it was carved to shape, covered in silicone, and topped off with some cocoa fiber. From there it was time to make the false bottom. I had to be mindful of the fact that African bullfrogs burrow, so I had to make the false bottom out of something that Samson wouldn't get scuffed on. Rather than make the typical egg crate false bottom, or something that he could dig up, I made a segment out of Metalamat. This is a really easy solution because you don't need to use a barrier to keep the substrate out. Anyways, after getting it cut to size with the utility blade, the Metalamat was placed in the bottom of the land area. Then I mixed up the substrate. For this one I'm doing something a little different. I simply mixed up cocoa fiber, orchid bark, and sphagnum moss. Although it likely wouldn't cause any issues, on the chance that Samson ingests the substrate, I didn't want him eating sand or charcoal. Plus, the plant load in the land area will be pretty minimal, so those elements aren't as important for this setup. Once the batch was all mixed up, it was added a handful at a time. Although it might not look like it from the video, this cavity holds a good bit of substrate, which will give Samson a nice area to dig in. From there I added the substrate into the water area as well. What I'm using here is some thoroughly clean garnet sand, which is the same stuff I used to create the embankment. I think it was a great choice for this setup because it has hints of red and a lot of dark colors that complement the rest of the setup. After the sand, I also added a few handfuls of sea chem fluorite dark to make more texture. Now we can bring the setup to life with some plants. I can't plant this setup too heavily, so I need to choose plants that will make a big impact and can take a beating. First up is a bird's nest fern. This one is pretty sturdy and can be planted within the hardscape using some sphagnum moss. I personally think this one really adds to the setup, and because of the way it grows, I don't think it will take up too much space. Next up is a variegated spider plant. These grow really well as a marginal plant, so it should do perfectly in the back corner of the water area. I simply planted it in a net cup and used gravel as the substrate. Onto another bulletproof plant, the golden pothos. This one will fill in the space, can take a beating, and will help keep this setup clean. I added segments of this to the left and right sides of the land area. Next up is some Acorus gramineus of Borozuki. I'm using this one to add some additional texture and to go along with that bank look that I was talking about earlier. After getting those plants situated, I added the filter. I won't mention much about it other than I'm using a ZooMed Turtle Clean 511 canister filter. This is the same one I've been using on MJ's setup, and I really like how it's been working out. Plus, since it's outside of the tank, it makes servicing pretty easy without disrupting the frogs. Then I filled up the tank with some dechlorinated tap water and turned on the filter. Given the nature of the setup, it only makes sense to add leaf litter. I added them to the land area for the cleanup crew and for aesthetics. As for the water feature, it was added for tannins and so that debris in the water feature makes sense. What I mean is that Samson will track substrate into the water feature when he goes in. With the addition of botanicals, it will look like the debris is meant to be there alongside them. To finalize the design, I added a few patches of Java moss along the edge of the bank. I also pinned up some Ficus pumila on the background using stainless steel wires. As you would expect, we can't call it quits until we've added the cleanup crew. First things first, we'll add some springtails. These guys will help address any mold and will help break down waste. We'll also add some common isopods and skirted isopods. These will do the brunt of the work when it comes to cleaning up after Samson.
Lil Dicky.
I'm Lil Dicky.
Won't they eat it too? Won't they eat them?
When we get our FabFitFun boxes, we know it's going to be a great day.
We love getting full-size home, fashion, beauty, and wellness products delivered right to our door.
You get over $200 worth of products for only $49.99.
And with so many ways to customize, I know that I'm getting products that I love.
Some of these products by themselves will cost you more than the entire box.
It's like a gift from me to me.
Trust us, you're going to love it.
Use code AMAZE for $10 off your first box. Go to FabFitFun.com.
A little bit of the green moss on that background would have done it for me, bruh. Oh, that thing is huge. I wasn't expecting that one. I Oh, it is a bullfrog, but dang, that thing is huge.
There you have it, the African bullfrog paludarium. I really like how this turned out, and it seems like Samson really enjoys it as well. There's virtually no acclimation whatsoever. He went into the setup and started acting totally normal. I even heard him croaking on a few occasions. I couldn't capture it on film though because he was camera shy. In case you're wondering, he kinda sounds like a cow. He also gave us quite the show and demonstrated what it means to be an ambush predator. I don't know about you, but I think he looks absolutely perfect in this setup. In my opinion, it really does complement him well. I'm so glad to have finally completed this project.
Alright, last one. Before I end this thing.
Hey everyone, here's a video that I know a lot of you have patiently waited for. It's been in the works for a long time, and I too have been pushed with this setup, was to create... Hey everyone, here's a video that I know a lot of you have patiently waited for. It's been in the works for a long time, and I too have been patient with it. Before we get started, I just want to say that it's very important to be patient with these types of setups. I know that's easier said than done, but anytime that I rush, something goes wrong. To make sure everything went smoothly with this one, I took my good old time. Anyways, let's jump right into the ultimate 40-gallon fire-bellied toad paludarium. One of the main things that I wanted to accomplish with this setup was to create a nice waterfall. I wasn't thinking something super crazy, just a nice steady flow. In order to do so, I'll be using a Repto filter. These are pretty cheap and quite reliable, so I thought it would be the perfect choice. With the filter selected, I then proceeded to fill up the aquarium. In doing so, I wanted to determine the minimum depth at which the filter could run properly. Afterward, I marked the aquarium with a China marker. From there, I drained the aquarium and began taking some measurements. Using these measurements, I marked some insulation foam with a marker and cut it down to size. Then I secured them with some masking tape and labeled them accordingly. Next, I turned all of the pieces over and scored them with a utility blade. This will create more surface area for the silicone that will be added shortly. Now we'll clean the back of the aquarium. Using rubbing alcohol and a paper towel, I thoroughly scrubbed the back of the aquarium where the foam will be attached. This will create the optimal surface for the silicone to adhere to. After prepping the aquarium, I dry fit all of the pieces and got some GE Silicone 1. From there, I turned each piece over, applied a generous amount of silicone, and placed them back in the aquarium. Weights were then put on top of the foam to apply pressure while the silicone cured. After letting the silicone cure, I removed all of the weights. Next, I got a piece of egg crate light diffuser and cut it down with some wire cutters. After getting it cut down slightly, I placed a large piece of spiderwood in the aquarium for reference. Then I proceeded to downsize the rest of the egg crate. Next, I placed the egg crate in the aquarium and cut out a section for the filter. Afterward, I began constructing the false bottom structure. To do so, I used zip ties to attach a few strips of egg crate to the larger piece.
That is pretty cool. I wonder what it would cost to get all these materials that would go in. So I still want to do this to my aquarium. Terrarium. Paludarium. Let me check to see if there's any tournaments on. There's $100 coming on at 12 a.m. That would be what, 9 p.m. our time? Let me see something real quick. It's 8:30. That's in about half an hour.
From there, I tested the structure to ensure that it fit properly, and I snipped off the excess zip ties. Then I used more zip ties to attach a sheet of carbon fiberglass window screen mesh to the outside of the egg crate. Next, I used more zip ties to attach a piece of weed control fabric to the top of the structure. The reason that I used two different meshes is because I wanted water to pass freely through the sides, while the top would retain all of the substrate without letting anything fall through into the water feature. After getting everything together, I snipped off the excess with scissors. The structure was then placed back into the aquarium along with the spider wood. Now let's get the water feature in order. To start, I traced the outline of the filter onto a larger piece of foam and cut out a hole. Then I used this and other pieces of foam to get a general idea of what I was going to do with the water feature. With this addressed, I applied a bead of silicone to the underside of the egg crate structure and firmly placed it into the aquarium. Another bead of silicone was ran around the structure and smoothed out with my finger. Afterward, I smeared silicone all over the bottom of the aquarium using a brush. Normally I wouldn't do this, but since the setup will be filled with water, I wanted to give the expanding foam a better surface to adhere to. Next, I got a length of PVC pipe and siliconed it to the background just above the filter. This will allow me to disconnect or replace the filter if need be, while simultaneously providing good cord management. After allowing all of the silicone to cure, I removed the filter so we could finish the waterfall. Like before, I traced the outline of the filter onto various pieces of foam and cut out a section for the back of the filter. After getting the pieces cut out, I placed everything into the aquarium, drew some rock formations on the foam, and cut out the pieces accordingly. This ended up being more work than necessary, but it still worked out. When I was pleased with the foam layout, I took them out of the tank and carved some finer details. Afterward, I attached all of the pieces together using more silicone. Once the silicone cured, I got a small section of pond liner. Lucky for me, I was building a pond and had some extra liner on hand. Alternatively, you could use a tarp or some other type of waterproof plastic. From there, I used a bit of cyanoacrylate superglue to attach the liner to the foam. It's worth mentioning that the glue will melt the foam a bit, but with some tinkering, you can get the liner attached quite well. Once the liner was completely attached, I trimmed off the excess, making sure to leave a good section on the false bottom itself. From there, I attached a few sheets of cocoa fiber liner to the front of the false bottom. Next, I got a can of expanding foam and applied it to the waterfall section, as well as the front of the false bottom. Once I got a nice look, I let the foam cure for 24 hours. Afterward, I used a razor scraper to carve out the foam and add some nice details. Carving the foam so that it looks like a sponge also provides a better surface for the silicone to adhere to.
That is so cool.
After carving out most of the waterfall, I filled up the aquarium to test for any leaks. All was well, so I moved on. I attached another piece of cocoa fiber liner onto the side of the false bottom and applied some more expanding foam. In doing so, I created a lip that will keep the substrate from falling into the water area. Next, I placed the spiderwood back in the enclosure and applied more expanding foam. After letting off the foam cure, I meticulously cut it out like before using a razor scraper. From there, I turned the aquarium on its side and used great stuff gaps and cracks expanding foam to build up the background a little bit more. After letting it cure, I carved it out like before, only this time I was carving for shape, not detail. Then I attached sections of cocoa fiber liner to the background using silicone, clamps, and weights. After letting everything cure, I smeared some silicone all over the background and carved sections of the foam using a paintbrush. Once the silicone was smeared just right, I covered everything with some orchid bark and cocoa fiber. The trick here is to firmly press everything into the silicone. If you don't, it will more readily fall off over time. At this point, I had to let the aquarium sit for another 24 hours so that the silicone could cure. After waiting, I used a shop vac to remove all the excess cocoa fiber and orchid bark. From there, I attached some DIY jungle vines to everything using some super glue. If you're curious, I'll leave a link down in the video description showing how I made these. To do so, you simply get a length of cotton rope, cover it in silicone, and then cocoa fiber. Trust me, you'll end up with a beautiful vine every time. My goal with these vines was to really bring the design together and make a more cohesive aesthetic overall.
This guy's a genius.
Next, I filled the aquarium back up with water and turned on the filter. Then, using pieces of slate stone, I built up the waterfall. It took a long time to get everything looking how I wanted, but I think the end result is quite nice.
Paid actor reenacts actual real-life code. I was just a normal guy with lower than normal soap levels.
So when someone suggested one wheel, I was skeptical until I tried it.
With low stoke levels, you never know when you're going to be stoked again. Do not use without a helmet. Side effects include smiling, laughter, confidence, new friends, a general sense of freedom, finding your aura.
Now, my stoke levels stay up all day, every day.
Call a doctor if you're stoked longer than 4 hours. One wheel. Stay stoked.
Now we'll add the substrate to the land area. As I typically would with a setup like this, I'm using my standard ABG mix. I'll leave a card up above and a link in the video description showing you how I make it. I also used some pieces of cork bark to help build up the landscape and make a more interesting aesthetic overall. Flat ground would have been fine, but we want something with a lot of depth, and using objects to break up the land is a great way to do so. Then I began planting the terrestrial area of the paludarium. Rather than run off all the names, I'll just put a list down in the video description. However, in case you're curious, I'm primarily using just plain old Java moss for this part. As I'm going through this portion of the build, keep in mind that all of the plants look really good. However, they took a beating during the acclimation process and are only now starting to look good. I should also mention that this part of the build was filmed nearly 2 months ago. Again, the reason that I'm saying any of this is that it takes time and patience to create something like this. Now we'll move on to the aquatic plants, which consist of Anubias lancifolia, Anubias barteri, and Anubias nana petite. A special thanks to H2O Plants for sending me these plants, and the spiderwood from earlier. I have a coupon code down in the video description in case you're looking for some quality aquatic plants and other aquarium supplies. Anyways, let's start setting up the water area. To begin, I sprinkled some gravel into the front of the setup. Then I added some Fluval stratum into the back corners of the setup and worked in some more gravel. With both of these in place, I added some pool filter sand in the front and once again worked in some more gravel. Afterward, I filled the aquarium up and added a few slate stones to the water area. Then, using a combination of terrestrial plants and aquatic plants, I planted the water area. It's worth saying that most plants sold as aquarium plants and terrestrial plants that like soggy soil or grow near wetlands in nature will work very well for this type of setting. That said, expect a long acclimation period with plants grown like this. Now, let's fast forward a few months to the tank set up in my new house. During this time period, the plants took a beating, but everything is finally coming together. However, I felt that the scape needed something else. Fortunately for me, I had a spare piece of manzanita wood lying around the house that fit in just perfectly. From here, I proceeded to plant some more of the setup using various terrestrial plants. After doing so, I really wanted to take this setup to the next level and add some leaf litter and other botanicals to the water and land areas. I think this really helped bring everything together and made the setup look truly natural. From there, I continued to plant the setup until I was pleased with the overall aesthetic. Now we'll add the cleanup crew and make this setup bioactive. To start, we'll add some isopods, including skirted isopods and dwarf purple isopods. Next, I added a few cups full of springtails to various locations throughout the setup. Lastly, we of course have to add the fire-bellied toads. This is their home after all.
He's just gonna wait until they find their way in. That's cool.
When we get our FabFitFun boxes, we know it's going to be a great day. We love getting full-size home, fashion, beauty, and wellness products delivered right to our door.
You get over $200 worth of products for only $49.99.
And with so many ways to customize, I know that I'm getting products that I love.
Some of these products by themselves would cost you more than the entire box.
It's like a gift from me to me. Trust us, you're going to love it.
Use code AMAZE for $10 off your first box. Go to FabFitFun.com.
Dad, did you log into PlayStation right now?
No way. Hey, yo, something's charging me $10 a month.
Well, I don't know.
Check your memberships on your PS4. Make sure that there's nothing being charged, bro.
Alright. Can't you trace that?
I want to.
Trace it.
Remember how we did it last time?
You just looked it up.
On what? Do you remember?
Your Chase.
No, we didn't use Chase. Remember how we did it when Deontay was here?
Oh. I forgot how. Rocky knew.
Didn't we do it on the PlayStation though?
Yeah, but I don't know how. I think Rocky figured that out for us. I'll ask though.
Ask him if there's anything charging the PlayStation, because it keeps charging me. That's so cool. I got an open tournament, which I'm gonna have to join a little bit. Let's see if I can figure out this PS thing. chimneys. Stop. Come on, send it. I didn't get it. Duolingo. What's that? Oh, my son needs to learn Spanish. Come on. Stop. It's not sending it. Alright guys, I'm gonna head to here. See you guys later. Have a good night. Adios.